So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press the button now, and now we are
Okay.
live, right? And they know we're live, and
Okay.
I should already be. See, I'm doing it now. I'm doing this thing. Right, hi, you're with Scott. I'm Super Chuffer. We are live. I'm here with Indrid Cold. Indrid has a
Hello.
channel. She said hello. You should be able to hear her out there in Chatland. And she has a channel called Detractor Beam. We're going to be talking about everything from Bigfoot, aliens, the esoteric, the Fortean. You tell me in chat as well whether you can hear me nicely, whether you can hear Indrid when she starts talking in a second. So first of all, I'll say hello, Indrid. Do you want to say hello and who you are and what's your
Hello,
name and where do you
Indrid.
come
I'm
from?
I'm Indrid. I grew up for like 25 years in Atlanta, Georgia, and then I lived in Tennessee briefly, and then now I live in southwestern Colorado.
Cool. I think they can hear you fine.
Yeah.
They're saying it's all good in chat there. I want to give a little bit of
Nice.
a brief. I don't know what the word is. I just want to give everyone a little bit of an overview, lowdown from the high ground before we start, right? We're going to be talking about all sorts of different things today, and some of these things are going to be the sort of things that people might be like, oh, you could debunk that, oh, I don't know about that, or I don't believe that, or what about this? And what we're doing today is we're here to listen to Indrid explain things to me, new things that I don't know about. So I'm going to be like Mulder on the X-Files. I'm going to be like, I want to believe. Let's just keep an open mind. What I'm not going to do is be like, oh, I'm going to poo-poo this. Oh, I'm going to get a video up and prove that that's not that. That could be a fake. Like, I'm not doing that. What we're doing is we're keeping an open mind. Whatever you want to discuss in chat, whatever you want to talk about in chat is always good. You can always ask different kinds of
Yeah.
questions. We're always happy for you to do that. Yeah, that's the premise of where we're going from here. Today's episode is about learning new stuff. America is a huge place. Tell me in chat quickly where you're from. If you're from the UK
Yeah.
or America, and I will get a general, idea about where you're from in the world. Where did you say you were from? Sorry again, Indrid.
So down at the bottom right, Atlanta, Georgia. A
Over
little
this
a little
way.
bit south of Atlanta is where I grew up. Um,
Wow, look
yeah,
how
it's a big state.
it's a big
Whoops.
America. You could fit all of England in there. I think.
I know it's very big. It's interesting. Oh, we got
And
somebody from London. Oh my goodness, so many people from UK.
yeah, a lot of UK people here, and I think this will be interesting to them. Like, I want to hear voices from around the world on this show, so you are
Yeah.
one of them. So with that in mind, right? Did you grow up in a pre-internet era, or was the internet all kicking off? Because I think a lot of these ideas, grow on the internet. But when I grew up, it was a lot more folklore.
Yeah. So I was born in 91. So I'll be 32 this year. It was like, so I think we had the internet, like, computers and internet a lot, like before a lot of my friends and a lot of other people around the neighborhood did, because my mom was 3D artist and stuff, and we were big into computers in my house. But we also, this was before, you could get on quickly. I do remember dial up. I remember all those things. But yeah, we played outside and listened to ghost stories, all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, ghost stories. I
Yeah.
remember that. So one of the first experiences that me and Indrid had, like, well, I'd known Indrid from Detractor Beam and from Dark Side Field Detraction, but I'd done this Ouija board the
Yeah.
other day, right? And she sent me a message to say, if you want to talk about this sort of stuff on the stream with someone who knows what's going on, because apparently I still haven't quite. People are a little bit cross. They don't want me to contact the dead, but yeah. First off, then tell me what what was my approach? What was going on with my approach there? You actually contacted me, didn't you, Indrid, and said, like, you might be able to teach me some things. So let's start at this Ouija board. This is my avenue into all this stuff. What was I doing wrong there?
Well, okay, so it's all about intent and respect. What were you intending to do? You were just trying to contact someone, anyone?
I was hoping, if I'm honest, right? If I'm honest, what I was hoping to do was to create a jovial and buoyant stream with a lot of comedy. And I thought, if something was real in the Ouija board and something did happen, then that would create a moment, whether it good or bad, and I'd
Yeah.
take that and run with it. But nothing did seem to happen for me. It was just like a piece of wood.
Yeah. That's usually what happens. I won't touch those boards. They scare the crap out of me because bad things can come out of them. I've never known anyone personally, but from what I have learned from watching, people that have had experiences with them, it is about intent and respect. So, if you're intending to contact the dead, you know, you can always be faked out, whatever. It's a scary board. I don't know. There's so much unpredictability about it. Like you have no idea what you're talking to, and that's why I won't touch them.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, well, for me, I had the idea that I was talking to maybe just a bit of wood, but a lot of people seem to take a lot of stock in it, don't they? They seem to put a lot of okay, I guess a question for me is like, what transforms it from a bit of wood with some letters to something that can like open a portal to another realm? Is there some inherent magic in the wood, or is it something else that's going on? Maybe.
I think there are a few factors. Possibly location. Another factor, that you being on camera in front of many people may have actually been a factor as well. Because I think a lot of this isn't meant to happen in front of a lot of people, which was one of my bigger things when you were watching other people do like ghost stories. Is yeah, of course they make it look silly, but I think that's because it's not really supposed to be caught on camera, and the things that are, it's completely accidental. But yeah, I think that may have been a possible factor in it.
I think a lot of people in chat as well were saying to me, or those that take it and what's the word? Take it to heart, maybe, you know, believe it. Those people were all saying to me that I was either doing it wrong, or that I was doing something dangerous, and I was sort of tinkering with fire. And you're mirroring a lot of the sort of things people are saying. So what can I do, right? Okay, I might not do it now, but what could I do to make it work better? Like, would I have to do it off camera? Would I have to switch off the stream, maybe?
I think if you really wanted to try it, actually, I take my statement from earlier back. My mother and my brother actually tried it. My brother likes to play with them. I don't know why. And so I'm just going to give you an example. I wasn't there when this happened, but my mom had mentioned, because they live in a very old house in Colorado, and they brought out a board, and my mom and my dad and my brother, they tried to see if they could contact anything. My dad is a staunch non-believer. He's like, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. So of course, nothing happened. I think that location, and then of course intent, again, the big factor is, so if you're intending on I'm all the way down in the Southwest.
Sorry, do you know when you said Colorado? Sorry, when you said Colorado, I was going to go over here. I just it's not there.
Not right.
It's over here. Like, America is so big, isn't it? Yeah. So, like, whilst
it's huge,
this particular story is taking place in Colorado, do carry on. Sorry, and you might notice I've changed into my professional presenter conversational voice somehow, and I've moved slightly away from who I really am. So I need to put that voice aside and just be myself. Yeah. Somewhere in Colorado, they were playing with the Ouija board. Go ahead.
Yeah, my dad, he doesn't believe in these things, which is weird because, you know, he was there when we'd heard some things in the house. Anyway, so he, that nothing happened, and I wasn't really surprised, but like, if he went into it and, you know, was thinking, or at least open-minded, like, I wonder, let's see if we can actually contact someone. And if you really are intending on it, I think there is a possibility that you could make contact with somebody or something.
You're very vague about that.
Intent.
You're very vague about that as well. Someone or something. Are we talking about Bigfoot? Real deal. We are going to talk about everything from our start point here, Ouija board, Bigfoot. We're going to talk about aliens. We're going to talk about Mothman, and other stuff might even come up as well, depending on time. And what we're going to try and do is outline, you know, the different concepts of what we want to talk about, so that maybe in the future, whatever you want, at the end, we'll probably do a big poll. You know, tell me in chat what you'd like us to talk about, and we'll try and cover it. Tell me in chat as well, do you believe in this stuff? Do you believe in Ouija boards? You know, are you open-minded, or is this all a thing that you should poo-poo and what's the word, debunk? You know, I want to know what you think in chat there about the general concepts. And then, at the end, we'll do a big poll, and whatever you want us to talk about next, we can dig in deeper and go a bit further. Mary's confused now. I'm always confused, Mary. That. I'm always confused. With the Ouija board thing, right? Are we talking about Bigfoot? At the moment, we're talking a little bit about the Ouija board. So with the Ouija board thing, is the spirit world, like, what I'm interesting in what I just said there, there's like, it seems to be like different sort of areas. There's like the ghost world and spirits. There's animals that maybe exist and don't exist, cryptid animals maybe they're called, and then there's like aliens and the X-Files stuff. So for me, they feel like they're very separate worlds, but maybe for you they're all intertwined. I didn't really know what to call today's episode, the occult or this and that. For you, do you have an open mind to all of that stuff, and is it all mixed in? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good way to put it. I do feel like they're all intertwined. I think they, in my brain, they sort of are like these separate little bubbles that tend to, like touch and sort of intertwine and whatever. Like I think they are all related, aliens and the paranormal and cryptids especially. They're all they gotta be related somehow, in my mind, from the things I've learned about and seen. It just has to be.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, I find, like I said, I find them to be quite distant worlds because, in my feelings, right? We've got things like Bigfoot and I suppose the alien stuff goes back a bit, doesn't it? Though goes back to like before I was born. But certain things feel like they could have been there forever, like since the Native American Indians were there, there could have been Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That could have gone long back. But then I suppose aliens could too. It's just aliens seem really modern because they've got like tech and they're sci-fi. Maybe it's because I've watched too many films. How do you think about... No, honestly, right, this is a serious question, right? A lot of the stuff we see about this, we see, like I'm referencing the X-Files here, like we see it through the prism of films. Do you think that makes it like seem like Fantasyland? Do you think it makes it seem like silly stories because we only ever see these things in the movies and the way the movies show us them? Do you think it devalues it?
So I don't think so, because if you've seen movies like Contact and Arrival and stuff, it shows you things that just make it more like, oh, I wish this is what could happen. Like in Arrival, these aliens come down and they're offering this awesome tool and to this woman, and it's basically the ability to see line as non-linear, and it's just really cool. And they come down and teach her this awesome language that's basically a time travel tool. It's awesome.
I have actually seen this one. They have to work out the language through this strange like they just see through this smoky mist and the aliens are there, but you don't really get to touch them or see them, and they communicate. Yeah,
and so they're coming down to help and because they need humanity's help in however many years. And it's like, there are some things like killer clowns from outer space that make it seem really silly, but
I've used Bigfoot and the Hendersons as the I use Bigfoot and the Hendersons as the, like, to me this whole thing, it feels like maybe it's because of growing up in the television, but the whole Bigfoot and the Hendersons thing feels very warm, right? It feels very middle America.
It does.
And it feels like from us in little old England looking out there, it feels like you could walk into the forest and you might even be able to meet a nice friendly Bigfoot. But some of the alien stuff and some of the like, it's a bit more silly. Like, maybe that has changed how I think about Bigfoot, so maybe I should think about them more like, more seriously in that way.
Bigfoot's scary, but it is nice to think about them this way because it brings like intangible things and then gives it this homey feeling. It's just nice. It makes you think a little bit more about, like, because it makes you think like what could be and what's out there in a non-scary way, even if they are terrifying.
You're laughing at me. I'll move him off the screen because he's a bit. Let's find a more terrifying Bigfoot for you. Let's find a more. These ones have got angry faces. These ones, they're not happy. They're carved out of wood, but they're not happy. Yeah. Angry
really
Bigfoot. Would a Bigfoot be? I'm just getting off track now. Actually, I'm just randomly started going. Would a Bigfoot be aggressive and scary? Are they? Wait. I'm not going to start Bigfoot yet. I'm going to hold off Bigfoot yet. I'm still sort of going. What I wanted to know was World of the Psychic, who we're talking to through the Ouija board, right? A lot of people have got it dated. It's in the past. It's the dead people. It's that world. Yeah. Is it to you? And I got the impression it might be that it could also be a portal to just other, like, can you explain this sort of concept to me a bit? Like, aliens might have gone back a long time. Who are we contacting? Like, is the psychic world also this sort of, I'm trying to explain it. Like, is there another another dimension that we're like not accessing, that all this goes on in? Is it all part of the same thing?
That's
or is
my
it...
belief.
Yeah.
That's my belief.
Tell me about that belief then. Explain that to me. Yeah.
So my belief is that there are a few other dimensions, and that they all touch and cross, and which is why we're seeing a lot of these things, is because they'll cross over into ours. And of course, there's no proof. And yeah, it sounds crazy. I'm fully aware of that. But also, who knows? I think, because like I have a deck of tarot cards. I'm very, very wary about what I use them for, and because what I want to use them for is to reach out to extra or ultra terrestrial beings, and I think that that's entirely possible, because who's proven that you can't prove it. So it's just intent, and I'm not. It feels weird though, because I feel like you can't. But I feel like it's very unlikely that you could contact aliens through a Ouija board. I'm not sure why I feel that way. It just feels that way. I'm not saying you can't, but it feels
So
unlikely.
are we talking about some sort of energy magic in some way, some sort of general energy magic?
It's sort of, I guess that's a very good, simple way to put it. Yeah, a little bit.
I've got tarot cards, right? I've got them right in front of me right now. Here's some. So what would I be doing right or wrong in order to charge my cards to, I've got them from Amazon, essentially. So at the moment, I don't consider them very magical. But like, is there something that I should...
My mom got mine for my birthday from Amazon, but they're still tarot cards. These companies make them because of what
they're very
they
pretty.
are, and that's fine.
Some of these are very pretty. You can only see little ones. I'm not going to bother.
Oh, right.
Showing, but I'm interested in art, and I like this sort of stuff. And I did the tarot cards on the stream the other day. We haven't done a big stream reading the cards, but I get this impression that me as a layperson shouldn't just like pick up a deck of cards and be like, bang, 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 I'm in touch with the spirits. Is there something I should be doing to charge my chakra? I know chakra's a funny word. It's a word I've heard, but like, is it that realm? Is this the sort of thing we're talking about here?
I guess so. For me, it's I was told when I got my deck that I needed to create a bond with them. So I needed to sleep with them under my pillow for 3 days. And then after that, I sort of just carried them wherever I went. I had bought some sage at the Arizona airport when I was going through there once, and somebody told me to literally get each of the hundreds of cards and clean each one with sage. So I did that. I just kind of lit it, and I had to keep lighting it, and I wrapped it all around the sage, and it was very smoky, and I don't really care for the smell, but I did that. And then there's another thing, laying out the like however you lay out the cards, there's a word for it, but I haven't really found one. I think a lot of it is you feel, a lot of it is feeling. So if you find a layout that just feels good to you, I think that's what you have to go with. So it's sort of just bonding with an inanimate object, which sounds really silly, but that's what I did.
Well, like there is this idea that, like you say, like the cards have some sort of connection. Like I guess that's what they're for, isn't it? They're to act as, like, they talk about these psychics and mediums, like the people are the connection, like as a medium between the spirit world and our world. But we're in our world. I guess I'm going to call it the spirit world, whether it's aliens or energies or anything. That's in the other world. So this set of cards becomes the conduit between the worlds. I'm sort of, that's the way I'm thinking of it.
That's a good way to think about it. These objects are conduits, because when you're ghost hunting or whatever, you've got EMF readers, you got night vision.
I don't have night vision and EMF readers. I'll tell you that right now. I certainly don't. But I'm thinking, do they sell them on Amazon? Do they sell them on Amazon?
They do.
Yeah,
they do, weirdly, and they'll sell spirit boxes on there too, which scare the crap out of me. But
all right, okay, wait. We're gonna. This is the problem with this world, and this is why this conversation today there's so much. There's so much. With tarot cards, right? I feel like tarot cards are old enough for us to feel as a human society that they contain some sort of old world magic. and that the old world ran on magic more because it didn't have science in a way, like it just turned to magic more, yeah?
I think that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So whereas the spirit box is very new world, modern technology stuff, isn't it? But the ghosts are still there. Like, you know, it's not like with modern technology and science hasn't. Okay, what my point is that modern technology and science hasn't poo-pooed the tarot cards and said they're in the bin now. What it's done is it's created an even more modern technology science thing to explore that world with, which is interesting. So yeah, tell me about the spirit box now, which I don't have one, and I'm not going to turn my radio on and mess with it.
Heck no. And there's some spirit box apps, which is just, I think it's just silly. So I think the cool thing about spirit boxes, there was a guy named Frank Sumption a long time ago. He'd had dreams, or it was alien contact or whatever, that told him how to make these boxes. And he only made these boxes and gave them away to like his friends. They're called Frank's boxes, and they're really freaking weird, and there's something really strange about them. But this whole concept, you know, that radio frequency can, you know, I don't know how to explain it.
Okay, wait. This is one of the problems. Like, I don't want to poo-poo this. Yeah, that's not my concept.
Oh, that's fine.
But yeah, this is the thing that I like. So what I see of this is that it's, but like you said, radio waves are going on because we've got them in the air because we're putting out, like, you know, calling people up, and what we're doing now, and, you know, oh, I'd like to watch that on the telly, and that's going on in the radio waves, yeah. Then this box sort of has access to that world of radio waves and the energies, and it's not like the telly where I'm tuning it into the program I want to watch and just watching it. It's going all over the place. And
yeah, these boxes, they're just continually flipping through stations, and what it is that these entities, or I'll just say entities, but I don't know what it is, they'll bring out words from each station and use it to communicate. And you know, it could all be bunk, but I like to think that there are things that can reach through it and contact you. It's just interesting.
So yeah, so I could debunk this in a way. You know, I could come at this and be like, oh, but it's this and that. I'm going to look at it, like I said today, I'm trying to be open-minded and just like, I'm Mulder today. So what we're saying here then is that in some way, like it says ghost receiver, right? So is it like a particular entity is trying to it's not just all the different ghosts are having a bit of a go. It's like you turn it on, you contact one particular entity, and that entity then says, oh, have a bit of this, have a bit of that, have a bit of this, and that makes the sound, like the entity is driving the conversation from their end.
Sort of. All right, I'm gonna take a little bit of a jump here. There's a series called Hellier.
I watched a little bit. It's YouTube, isn't it? And I watched a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a minute. So carry on now.
They use they have a Frank's box, and they were using it at one point, and it just causes very odd sensations and things like that. But I think a lot of it again is intent. So if because what they're doing in the show, they're trying to contact sort of just anything. They're just putting energy out there or whatever, and, you know, intending to make contact with some sort of extraterrestrial entity, whatever, you know, and they're asking it questions, so it'll either give like really short answers or just really obscure answers. So you kind of have to sift through and figure things out, is the impression that I got. And like, I've never used one. The ghosts scare the crap out of me. So the possibility that I could come in contact with the damn ghost is what freaks me out about it.
Really?
But,
all right, okay. Here's a question then. Here's a question. Is like, when we're doing this stuff, for me, I actually honestly feel like if a ghost came out the Ouija board and it was talking to me, that would be like a big win. And that like I thought the point of these ghost hunts and stuff like this was to find the stuff. So if I was out, even if it was dark and a bit scary, I like to think that if I was out and I shone my torch and there was a ghost, that I'd think, oh great, and I'd walk towards it and say, can I get a picture with you, hello, rather than run away and be scared. Like, I don't have that necessarily that fear. What is it about it that you're scared of?
You know,
Sorry, and
there were
also
some
tell me in
things-
chat, are you scared of this stuff? Does it
Yeah.
worry you, or is it like something you're interested in? You would if you saw a ghost, would you walk up to it, would you run away? Tell me in chat. And yeah, carry on, Ingrid, tell me what
I'm
you
very
think.
curious as well. I when I was growing up, you know, Atlanta, the whole East Coast of the United States is very special. It's got some interesting things happening with the Appalachian Mountains and the Mammoth Cave system and shit. And there's a lot of electromagnetic activity. I don't know if it's just that or whatever. That's a huge factor in all this. But I heard and saw a few things that were just fucking weird, and it scared the crap out of me. So ever since then, like, really the only nightmares that I have are just freaky ghost ones. So
Freaky ghost
it's
stories.
just-
Tell me, go on
Yeah.
then. Let's have from America, because like you say, this is totally different to the way I live in England. Like, you've got these mountain ranges, you've got this like vast rural areas that you could get lost in. You've got national forests. We've got, you know, national parks, but like America is huge. It's a lot more populated now than it was. And you kind of get this impression that it was literally the new world, wasn't it? So at one point it was all undiscovered country, and there's old stories mixed with, you know, modern exploration. So what was these scary things that happened? As long as they're not going to trigger you, like scare you, you know?
No. It's fine. I was a little kid, but this was like, okay, so this one includes, there's a couple that include my dad, which is, it's very confusing that he doesn't believe in these things because of what we heard. We had this computer room upstairs where there were like 2 computers, but there was the big monitors with like the thick glass, you know?
Okay.
And we were up there one night and my dad was showing us something, and we just start hearing this very clear like knocking, like somebody was just like on the glass screen, and we were just staring at it. It happened for like 5 minutes, just went away.
On the screen of the
It was
computer?
really weird. Yeah, we were just all just sort of sitting back, and we just heard this continual knocking. It was just bizarre.
So there's in this situation, there's multiple people are there. Like, it's not just you on your own. Like, you might have saw a thing, and you got like everyone. You all like, had the same experience.
Yeah.
And like, it's interesting to me there, like the concept. Like, we've had glass for a long time. And like, if someone was knocking on my window, that would put the shits up me a little bit. I'd be out there on the drive looking to see who's been knocking on my window. If it's a computer screen, like, I'm definitely not going to be like, you know, opening up the computer to see who's inside it. So
No.
It occurs to me that like, maybe, I don't know, trying to be like, you know, trying to say completely take this as if it was 100% real, and I'm not trying to poo-poo it. Instead, I'm trying to like see what's going on. There's the technology involved again, isn't there? There's the computer, the actual technology.
True.
Mind you, a lot of us use computers now. Not a lot. It's not like the computers are making everyone. What do you think was the source of that, and what was your instinctive feeling on what happened there?
My instinctive feeling was, I was a kid. I think I was probably around 10 or 11.
All right, so you just shit it.
I was just like, the fuck is going on? Oh my God. And it was just interesting. I think my dad was showing us the weather or something. So it was like, you know, you can think of, oh, maybe it was just a computer program, a sound or whatever that he was trying to trick us with. And that's entirely possible. But after all these years, you know, we've talked about it recently. I was just like, yeah, that was weird. That was really weird. And my initial thought was just, fuck, this is so weird, dude. Help.
Everyone's got a lot of ghost stories in chat as well. I'll tell you what, if anyone wants to have their ghost story read out, and if you want me to stop talking at any point and interject with your particular stories, send them to me on coffee.com Ganji with your tip, or super chat them, and I will stop and read out your stories as you tip me.
But
otherwise, I'm going to stick. I'm generally going to stick with Ingrid. But you know, usually I would read out all your chats a lot more. But because I got a guest, I'm going to stay with my guest, and then at opportune moments, those who choose to pay get their voices heard. So I will do it that way.
I feel sorry, guys. Sorry, Chad.
Tell me about, right? Big America, you've heard a knocking noise. You said there were more things that scared you, though. So as you grew up, did you see any other ghosts, and did you have any other strange experiences?
Yeah. So there was I grew up in the same house for like 18 years, and in the house that I grew up in, there's a what's weird is we were the first people to have owned it, but there were quite a lot of like graveyards and stuff, and there were a lot of Native American burial grounds in the area as well, which I think may contribute
That's a theme
to all
on
this stuff.
Okay, so when I was a kid, Poltergeist was like a film, yeah? I mean, you remember
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is, my parents divorced, right? And my dad used to take us to the video shop of a weekend, and he'd be like, choose a video and we'll go and watch it, and then, at the weekend it'd keep us occupied, choose the video sort of thing. And we go to this video
Yeah.
shop, little independent video shop, and they had all the videos up on all the walls, and like, you pick your favourite video and whatever. And they had this upstairs room that was all horror movies. And like, I didn't used to go, I was about 8 years old, and I used to creep up there, and it was this, like, all the horror movies were on all the walls. So there was like pictures of like Hellraiser, Pinhead, and all this stuff on all the walls. So it was just like, it was a scary room. Like, it was like the upstairs scare dungeon. And I used to creep up there and have a look. And then one day I picked up Poltergeist and I took it downstairs. And because the box just had a little picture of like a little boy on it or whatever, my dad didn't clock it, and he got us Poltergeist. And I watched that at about like 8 years old. And it scared. I didn't want to go in the bathroom anymore. Like he pulls his face off in the So stuff like that really put the willies up me. But I didn't see any actual poltergeist. We didn't have any Indian burial grounds. We've got a lot of history in the UK. But I wonder. So in America, in this area, like you're saying, you've got this actual like savage history of native people being killed. There's been slavery and stuff like that. There's a lot of.
I was about to say, it's a sad area. It's
a sad area.
A lot of sad history, and I'm thinking like residual energy and things like that. Yeah.
Do you think it has to be like some sort of negative energy in order that it's not, that it's not left the earth in some way? Is that what's driving this? And do you think this area of America has more ghosts and? Because like you said, it was a new house, and you still felt you had. We haven't even got to what it was that scared you yet, but
yeah. I think that's a big part of it. It's definitely a possibility in my mind. The whole negative energy and sad history, because eventually when I left, I hated living in Georgia. I hated it so much. Finally, when I left, it was like a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders. It just felt better. That's me. A lot of people love it there, and I don't know why. But
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna go on to what happened. What was your question?
Do you think some people feel this energy more? Do you think some people are more receptive to it, more oppressed by it?
Yeah, that's a whole other theory of mine as well. I have a theory for that. I think that initially, as a human race, we were born with this intuitive feeling, and over time, it was sort of repressed. Whatever. I think that all human beings do have this ability to feel energies and things intuitively, for sure. Yeah, I think now that it's not seen as normal, people will see it as this freaky thing, and you tend to repress it.
Tell me in chat, do you have psychic energies? Do other people have them more or less than you? Do you have people in your families that have psychic energies? Is Indrid talking sense here? Is this something that I should be taking on board more? It sounds reasonable, because I tell you what, there is a ghost behind me. Yeah, it's my green screen is acting up because we're shooting in the daytime. In the daytime, it just doesn't look as high quality. I think what Indrid's saying here makes sense to me, in that if I was talking about running, some people would be better at running, some people wouldn't be as good at running. If I was talking about
that's a good.
Music or anything, all humans have got different aptitudes and skills. So if we do have a sixth sense, it would seem strange that we've all got exactly the same level of sixth sense. Even some people are better at art and different things. Like, I wonder what part of us it's connected to. Like, some people are more artistic, some people are more I wonder which part of our nature it's connected to. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it can express itself in different ways. Some people, I've heard people that can taste it. They can. A lot of it is feeling it. Like, I see things in chat. Like, I'm quite intuitive, and that's a thing. Like, a lot of people. It's all right. When somebody is a big liar, and you can just feel it. That's that feeling, and that's that intuition. And so I think that, you can feel when something's off, when something's wrong. You walk into a house and something bad just happened, you tend to be able to feel it. And so feeling, residual, God, I sound like a crystal seller, residual energies and stuff. I do think everybody can feel it. Yeah, some people more, some people less. I think it's just been repressed over the years.
What's repressed it?
I think it's the fact that it's seen as weird or freaky, and it's sort of a peek behind the curtain.
Okay, right. So society has repressed it within itself. Like, we don't talk about it. We don't believe in ghosts. You're an idiot, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's seen as crazy.
Yeah. Okay, it's seen as. I get that. I see what you mean. I thought it might have been like some extra force has been trying to repress it. It's not some sort of.
No, I don't know about that.
No, I don't believe in any silly conspiracy nonsense. No. But yeah, I've got I wanted to hear your actual ghost story, right?
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah. So let's get back to that before we move off that topic. Yeah.
I do not like being in bathrooms for a long period of time, which was interesting that you had mentioned that you didn't even want to go to the bathroom. I don't like being in bathrooms. There was in the house I grew up in, there was this half bath, which is just like a toilet and a sink, and it wasn't an ugly bathroom.
You didn't have dual sinks.
No. No.
That's an in-joke.
Fucking sink, dude.
Dual sinks. It's got the dual sinks. We sold on that. That's a good house. Yeah.
Dude, I'm so excited for this week. On that note,
Yeah.
Oh shit, that was good.
Yeah, you had an old house.
It wasn't
and the bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't an old house. It wasn't scary.
It
was just a bathroom that it was painted this very nice color of red. But I went in there and I was washing my hands one day. I think I was like 12, something like that, and I looked up and I had seen. It sounds crazy. I had seen myself. I just didn't have any facial features. My mouth was gone and my eyes were gone, and my nose. It was just the scariest shit, dude. It was so fucking scary. So I left, and yeah, there's a possibility I could have just glanced, and it was. I had seen it weird. It's just I remember very clearly what I saw, and it's.
Okay, I've got a story for you here, right? My stories. Okay. The problem with my stories, right, is that most of them start with "I took acid" or "I took mushrooms," and then I don't think mine count as much. But I was in the bathroom and I was looking at my hands, and my hands looked like pig's trotters. The way that was pretty freaky. But unlike you, where you left and ran away, I stayed in there and I was messing around with my piggy trotters, trying to turn the taps on and do things. Maybe it was the mushrooms.
Maybe.
But yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll come clean with a couple of things though, right? When we were kids, we grew up in this. It was an older house. It had been used. I could actually show this on the internet, I suppose. I don't really want to, do I? I don't want to show my houses. Maybe I do. I don't live there anymore, so.
Just don't go to these houses, people. That's very silly.
I don't live there anymore, do I? So I think it's okay to show a house that I used to live in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
That's actually quite interesting.
This old house, right? It looks a bit more interesting now. Right? I mean, it's down off the road. You can't see as much because there's a bush in the way now.
That looks so nice.
Right, but what they used to do is, this was a busy road back in the day, and this used to be a roadside cafe. It only had one floor on it. The upstairs has been added after. That would have been an attic. And at this end, there would have been a big entrance, and people would have brought their horses and carts in and had food and sort of stayed there. So it's got a bit of history. And also, during the Civil War, Oliver Cromwell, during the Civil War, tore down a load of churches, and there used to be a church, and we had a great big stone in the garden, and the vicar had to come and consecrate it and take it away when they were doing some building work. So it's got a bit of history in that sense. And when we were kids, I used to say when I was a kid that I could see people in the mirror and like ghosts. I didn't say they were ghosts. I just said that I could see them. I don't really remember it either, but my mom said that because I was doing this, she got the vicar in, and he did not an exorcism, but like a blessing around the house.
Yeah. Wow. Oh,
I remember him doing that.
Interesting.
I remember the vicar coming around and doing that stuff. And then, so when we got older, and I guess the problem is with me, like I said, I was messing about with mushrooms and psychedelics maybe. But me and my sister used to see ghosts in this house. We were on the upper floor, and I used to think there was it was almost like a more than one. It was almost like a sort of conflict situation, maybe between an older man and a younger lady, that I used to get this impression of through like feelings and shadows and stuff like that. And then later on as well, when my granddad was staying with us, he was dying of motor neurone disease, which was pretty tragic. And he woke up my mum in the night at one point and said he could see a white lady. And obviously, no, he was looking through the window to another window of the house out the back, and he could see a white lady. So like we've had all these sorts of, and actually, once I ran downstairs and glanced back in a mirror, and in the mirror I could see the white lady in another room, like in the mirror. But all these things I sort of put down to, like, despite everything, I sort of put it down to a sort of, well, I don't know, probably wasn't, probably me. Stuff like that. And although I've got like a religious side to me, and like we can talk about demons and angels a bit later. What's interesting is that for me, I've left it behind when I moved out of that house. Like it kind of almost was a feature of this place. Like and I don't tend to take on a sort of. Like I'm yet to say. Like if you asked me, have you seen a ghost? I'd probably say no. Even though I've described all those situations.
It's raining again.
So
I couldn't be happier.
it's raining. Tippies. Thank you, Christina. Yeah, you can hear it, can't you? You can hear my tippies.
I love that so much.
It's raining again. I've also had some tippies while I've been offline as well. So thank you very much, Christina, for the tippies. And while I was offline, the Lancashire police sent me some tippies. Apparently.
Damn.
So, yeah, just want to watch out for the Lancashire police, but also Janet and Karen, thank you. And I don't know why the Lancashire police were sending me tippies, but apparently they
like
were.
Your work.
Yeah. And anyone can put any name in when they send the tippies. I'll just tell them that. So if anyone else wants to send me.
Great.
But thank you for that. So what do you think it is about your experience? Have you got more experiences as well? Because I just listed like a whole sort of bundle of mine.
That's interesting.
Have you got more than that? Because what is it about yours that made you feel, yes, real, whereas I sort of didn't maybe? I don't know. Yeah.
I've only had one sort of experience, and I don't think it was ghosts, ever since, because I moved out of that house, oh my God, like 15 years ago. And then we moved into a different house. And it's interesting that you said,
I couldn't be happier.
Whoosh!
And then whoosh.
Carry on, we'll check the tippies after you finish. Yeah.
It's interesting that you said that you left the house and it just sort of left you, because I never really saw anything like that after I left the house that I grew up in. And it was kind of a relief in a way. I don't know. I just didn't. Like there were like two other things that happened in that house. I think, one night my brother and I were upstairs on the computer, and parents were watching a movie, and they sort of run up and they're like, "Oh my gosh, are you guys okay?" We're just like, "Yeah, we're just hanging out." What? They had heard a little girl crying at the top of the stairs, calling for like her mommy or something, which of course is the typical like, "Oh, mommy," type of ghost story. But it was, and again, my father heard it as well. So I'm not really sure. I think he's just one of these poo non-believer types, which is fine. I get it. It's an outlandish subject, but so that one. I didn't hear it. My parents had both heard it very clearly, and it's just strange. But,
that's interesting, because I was going to say, do you think it was because we were younger people? Do you think it's because we were kids that like maybe young?
That's another factor. Yeah. Liminality, marginality, and there's another one. What? Liminality is
liminality.
Like,
Wait.
Liminality.
Oh God.
Liminality.
Is there another way to say that?
It's a state of transition between one stage and the next.
Oh, like liminal spaces, like a liminal space.
Yes.
Like a nice corridor, nice empty corridor.
Yeah. So that's a huge factor. Like with the Mothman and the bridge that had collapsed in West Virginia to Ohio, hotels tend to be haunted because it's a transitioning state. Kids transitioning from, childhood to being an adult, that's another liminal stage. And that tends to be when you see more paranormal things. And that just seems to be a constant factor. And like people on the margins of society, marginality, people who are, and again, trailer homes and stuff. That's a transitional sort of state, but yeah, people on the margins, like I guess, like, I don't want to say like convicts or whatever, but like people who are just sort of on the fringes. That seems to be another thing. Oh my God, the back rooms.
Yeah, so these are liminal spaces. Yeah, this is like in the way we think in our world of like a liminal space is a transitional space between places. So like a really great photograph of a liminal space might be of an empty road at night or something. But then these CGI generated spaces have entered into the internet space, and they're really, for me, it's something I love. Actually, it's something it's like somewhere between art and being creepy. And
it's
like,
great.
Yeah, so these are liminal spaces. There's nothing happening here. We're just transitioning spaces between other spaces, and there's nowhere, like, we're not going into rooms. We're just like moving between spaces. Like that liminality that you just described. This is how I'm thinking of it in my brain, but as like an example of this, but between like a spirit or another world dimension and ours. We're talking about this liminality. It reminds me of what I said about tarot cards earlier, being the conduit. Like you need this conduit space between the two. And it's interesting that I often dream in this way. I don't know if you've had the same experience where in a dream you might open a door into another, like I might climb out the window and then I'm at my old school, or, open a door into a college, or like through corridors.
I sort of do, but like I have someone that's chasing me and I have to open up.
Sorry, what now? Chasing you now because you've been sat there for a while talking to me, so they're going to catch you pretty quick. They're on the way.
Not right now. In my dreams.
In the dreams. That's a nice dream. That sounds nice. That's pleasant. No,
it's terrible.
It's awful. Yeah. Why are they chasing you? Who are they?
I don't know. They have an intention of hurting me, though. So
do they?
That's.
You're sure of that? You feel that in yourself when you're dreaming?
Yeah. And the only really liminal sort of this sort of dream that I have is, I'll be jumping through these holes with somebody who wants to hurt me, chasing me. It's very weird.
Tell me then quickly. Sorry, let's go back to this chasing you, hurting you people, because this one's standing out as like a bit of a. This isn't about. Is this about like this psychic world? Are your dreams an access point to this, or do you think that it's something in your psyche that's like making you feel something and stuff like that?
It's interesting. I don't really study the dream stuff. I'm not sure. There's a possibility that dreams can be more, of course. I don't think that's how I am accessed. That sounds gross, but like how things access my psyche through me. I just don't. Yeah, because I've got too many dreams that are just dumb. It's like, no way. Nah.
So they can't all be psychic, but maybe some could be. Because I tell you what, I'll just quickly say, Savvy Chuffer, thank you. First time she caught the live stream due to the time difference. Hope your cat's better. Well, the cat's on its way out, but it's at the vet at the moment, getting a bit of a reprieve. So yeah, the God floating into my body stream was hilarious. I thought it was. Thank you. 20 notes as well. So
I missed that.
I'll give you a taste of that at the end of the stream. Get your little taste. The thing we were saying there was about dreams, right? I actually, important times, I believe that I've dreamed. Okay, so number one, I've dreamed the future.
It's raining again. I couldn't be happy.
That's you chuffer. You waited till I got started again. You chuffer. Great work, Super Chuffer. Keep it up. Love the fact you follow Nicola Bully. You're not allowed to talk Nicola Bully today unless she comes through the dead spirits. Thank you, though. Yeah, thank you. We will be back on Nicola Bully. I was only joking about her coming through the dead spirits. Some other channels do that stuff, but we'll come to that in a minute, I guess, in a bit. But yeah,
I'm very curious to hear this.
Like I've had dreams, right? First of all, I've dreamed the future. Like, I've seen something in a dream. And I didn't know that it was going to happen, but then when I got there, I was like, "Fuck! Like this is just the place of my dream." Once I went to Sweden with my mate, right? And before I went there, like 6 months before I even started the project, I dreamed about these red bricks, the shape of these bricks, and like they were distinctive red and they distinctive stuff. And then at the end of this trip, like in Sweden, a big motif was the red on all the buildings, and we talked about it. And it had been somebody we interviewed in the film had been talking about where this color comes from. And then at the very end of the process, because I was like, this is all like my dream, but I haven't seen these bricks. And then at the very end, we went to Stockholm, and they had this like market square with all these bricks, just perfectly as if it was my dream. So I was like, yeah, I definitely dreamed this before. I was like expecting it.
I couldn't be happier.
Whoosh. Thank you, Wendy.
I love that.
So that was a dream about my future that I saw, right? And then the other times that I've done it is when someone's died or someone's been dying or something like that. Something's been very, close and personal like that. Thank you, Wendy, for the tippies.
Yeah.
And I've actually dreamed about the recent one was when this might be me coping with it maybe, or it might be, reality of something else. But I dreamed that after my nan passed, that my grandfather was basically paving a way for her and taking her to the next place. He appeared in my dream to make me feel that it was all okay and all that sort of stuff. So what do you think about that as dreams then? Obviously every dream I have, that time I ate a big pizza and woke up with the cat on my face, that's not but that time I dreamed I ate a big pizza and I woke up and the pillow was gone, that wasn't for real, but
I'm gonna be partial to. So there's a theory that my cousin a long time ago had told me. Deja vu is basically our brains going into the future when we are sleeping and sort of seeing things that haven't happened yet. Just in short. So I'm sort of partial to Decepticon. I'm partial to the fact that our brains can do things while we're sleeping. So I think that you need a crystal ball.
What?
Tell the future. A crystal ball.
Sorry.
I don't know. I think that our brains can do these things.
Okay. Wait. The crystal ball thing came out of nowhere.
I don't know about those.
Did
I don't
you
know. That was sort of just a joke.
Okay. This is. I don't know sometimes with you though, you chuffer, because how do I know when you're when you throw? That's just terminology, isn't it? Right. That's just words. So we did Spirit Box. Yeah. Can I close this window? I've got too many windows open now.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's fine.
We said that it's possible that you thought that the manipulation of the airwaves by something else is being pushed through that. And my general
because again, Frank Sumption had a dream and was told that he needed to do this and this in order to create this to communicate with this. So there's another dream thing.
Right.
That's that.
Wait. He had a dream to make it.
He was told by. I need to do a little bit more research on this, but yes, that's what I've heard from things that I've watched and read, is that he was told through a dream, or maybe it was the radio waves, something like that.
Thank you very much for the $2 Decepticon. I was going to try and make you a moderator here, but it's not seeming to let me. Error try again, it said, which is a bit of a shame.
Boo.
Snood, hello Snood, you're going to get to become a moderator.
Shit.
Error try again. It says
Snood's
error
here.
try again. It says error try again. What about as a manager? Error try again. It's not letting me error try again. I don't know what's going on with that. Forget it. I've got a question then, right? Rather than poo-poo you and say, oh, but I don't know about this. No. I'm going to ask a different question, which is, I
was reading Snood's message. He spelled 14 incorrectly. I'm listening. Sorry.
Yeah. And in chat, I want you to answer this question to me, as well, if you want to fill me in. Are we being too trusting to believe what people say in dreams and stuff like that? Or when people come forward with these stories, is it that we should just listen and try and understand, where is the line drawn for you on that? Because I guess there's a lot of different stories, aren't there? What makes it more believable for you and what makes it less so?
I think the more fantastical it is, the more unbelievable. I have a hard time believing most ghost stories, ironically. I'll have friends that, this thing happened to me. And of course, everybody loves to tell their own ghost stories. Who doesn't? It's crazy. But a lot of times it's really hard for me to believe unless it's unless it's my own. No. I don't know. And it's the whole crystals thing as well. That's a little bit hard for me to believe. Sure, I think that certain things carry certain properties, whatever, but a lot of it, the fantasticalness.
Wait, you're not allowed to come and poo-poo things.
I know. I know. I'm open to it. It's just, again, it makes me feel skeptical sometimes, which is why I'm very understanding of people who are like, no. So, because there's so much in this one realm of this one subject that is so hard to believe, and there's so much to it. So I get it. Like, I mean, I don't know. And I could just be being an asshole, and yeah, these things are true. So.
Okay, so in general theory, right? Wait. I need to get you back to this liminality thing as well. In general theory, we started on the world of the spirits. Okay, I'm going to just give us the annual. What is it? The board meeting now. Listen, we need to sort out the schedule because we haven't talked about the schedule yet, and I feel like it's setting off my. Anyway, no, I'm joking. Let's put it all in organized. I will be here on Thursday, but I'm not going to be here on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday. Anyway, look, the spirits, right? We've got this.
I just got it.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good. Maybe I should have done it in the voice. The spirits, right? We've done the spirits, the world of the spirits. Yeah, we're talking about that. There are some things that we seem to have, and in chat as well, we seem to have like similar experiences in a way, whether it be a sighting of this or a feeling of that. Lots of people in chat said they had examples of not necessarily being like psychically gifted, but seeing something or whatever. We all agreed there was maybe a different spectrum of psychic gift. And then, so the spirit world, I think, is like a topic that we're like, in general, saying there are some things that we can really dig into. There was on the fringes of that, there are the spirit box, which I'm yet to be convinced personally, but you've got the spirit box. There are a couple of fringe things, and then we talked about this liminality between spaces. You said some other big words that I couldn't remember.
Marginality.
That was one of them.
Yeah, I think that was the only other, because there's always
that was the only other the two
remember.
big words. Liminality. I thought it was like 3. I think 3. You need a third one to make it. These things like it makes it really better. It makes the slogan better.
Marginality.
And then maybe just the name of the product, like liminality, marginality, Pepsi, like that.
Lame. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. I like it.
Marginality.
Snoot all Minecraft you.
Please tell me what marginality is then. Explain that aspect of it, because I get this concept of liminality now. We're talking about a space between spaces, like a space between spaces.
State of transition.
Oh, that was what you said.
So
transition.
Marginality. Marginality is refers to, I guess, sort of the outcasts. The
marginalized, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these people, they're crazy.
The Jews,
people,
the blacks, the Mexicans.
That's not what I mean at all. No, the fuck. The people, like convicts, people with mental illnesses.
That's the blacks, the Mexicans. not so much the Jews.
No, not so much them. No.
Depends on which part of the world. Anyway, look, the marginalized. Sorry, I would stop making my racial jokes. It comes. I
didn't say it. He did.
Listen. In Great Britain, we're allowed. We're a firmly melting pot of different. We won that war. We freedom. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on in America, but over here, I'm okay. We're okay. We cleared that. We cleared my joke. Fine. That went down fine. Liminality, marginalities. Marginalized people are people like who are in prison, who may be on drugs. They're like bums. Yeah. They're tramps. Sorry, I'm doing it again.
That's a good point, though. That's a good point, actually, because so what I'm thinking of specifically right now is, again, in that series Hellier, in season 2, there is a woman named Amy who is like looking into all of this stuff herself, and she ends up going to prison essentially because of it. And I think she was, I don't know, she just ended up going to prison and becoming extremely marginalized. And so now, I mean, that makes it, fuck, man, there's so much to, I'm like losing my words halfway through my sentence. But she's on the margins, and she's less believable, I think is the point. The less credibility and the less believable that they are. Oh shit, Darkseid's here. Oh my god, I'm so nervous right now.
all the cool people are in chat.
All the cool people are here. Help me.
All of my cool people and all of your cool people. So we got all the cool people. In chat. Meet each other. Welcome to chat. Meet each other.
Yes.
Have a good time, cool people. You were telling me about these marginalized people.
Yeah.
Does that mean
the less believable? Yeah, the more marginalized, and it tends to fit what I'm trying to sort of explain a little bit, at least.
Yeah, so let me ask that. So what we're saying is these people. So the spirit world is drawn to people who are on the margins of society for whatever reason, and for whatever reason, those people are not believed by society because they are the marginal people. It's a bit of a.
It seems to be a running theme.
Damn it! It's a bit of a that's annoying, isn't it? Because that does tick me off because it must be frustrating though because for us to believe these things, we want credible people to be telling us them, and I guess it comes to this court of law thing, doesn't it? Like people saying in chat there about schizophrenia and stuff, I suppose if you are marginalised and you have these, maybe schizophrenia is a good example. If you have a problem like that, it then becomes really difficult to try and decide what's real and what's not because you might believe stuff that, and if I'm being Mulder and I want to believe, then. This stuff might seem a lot more attractive, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's kind of like in what is it? The Alan Wake series. There's these crazy guys, and they're kind of like the only ones telling the truth. It's like that. Like that. It's simple. I mean, I know that's just a video game, but it's a good example.
Yeah. What do you think in chat? Do you think that once somebody's been through some shit or entered the margins of society, do you think they become less credible, or should we listen to their voices more? What do you tell that? It's a bit of a weird question that in chat. Actually, you can bin that off if you want. Just tell me what you're having for lunch.
Wake. God, I suck. Alan Wake, not
Alan Wake. I don't know. I've never played it. Never played it. I just let her say it. I just let her carry on.
Thank you, Wendy. That's very nice. Alan Wake. That's dumb. That's a woman moment right there.
So, to contact the dead, from what you're just saying now, right? Just putting together a little package in my mind. What I need to find is a tramp who's in a process of transition and set him up with a radio and get him to twiddle the radio for me.
Yes, exactly.
That's where I'm going wrong.
In a very sad house.
Or here's another option. I mean, I'm already fairly marginalised from society. I don't go out and mix with all the normal people very often. I don't even like the supermarket, But do you know what I'm saying? What I need to do is I need to become that tramp and get myself a radio. Right.
Yeah, and you need to transition. I don't know. You need to either be in the state of moving to a different country or a different city. Also, transitioning. I was going to say transitioning genders, but that's not a show.
You could be though. You could be.
And live in a very sad house.
Yeah, and live in a sad house. What if I burned my own house down? Would that help, or would that make it worse?
Yeah, that would help so much.
Please, nobody in chat. Nobody in chat, please burn their houses down.
No.
Stood outside with your radio, doing the radio. Don't do that. But yeah, sorry, I'm making jokes now. I'm not trying to demean it. I'm just making jokes.
No, it's good. I love it.
Yeah, so that's the spirit world, right? We've got some sort of concept about what the beliefs are surrounding that. I understand a bit more now about how my tarot cards would or wouldn't work based. If I'm sat there doing these jokes about burning the house down, the tarot cards are listening and they're saying, "Shut up, Scott. We're not telling you anything."
I don't know if they're listening. I really don't. I think it's a conduit. So maybe it's the dead that are listening through it.
This sounds like when I got my homework wrong. Wait, the dead are making. I'm angering the dead now.
Yeah, they're pissed. They're gonna come through the devil hole if I try.
Yeah, I'm going to drill a little. Like I said just before we started, I'm going to make a little hole in the Ouija board so I can look through it into hell.
Some of them actually do have little holes at the top.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so wait. So we've got the conduit aspect. Yeah, we've got the idea that you have to be respectful and in tune, and that some people might be able to do this more.
Yeah.
That being in a process of transition, it seemed for the negative ones. Thank you, the Bishop, for the 5 notes there. Armchair Detective, the real one, says thanks for the Nicola Bully analysis. Don't they? Don't they just? That chuffer. I'm not allowed to talk that today. This is not in today's episode, but yeah, thanks. Just briefly, just to fill you in on what he's referring to, is there's another chuffer who like basically, yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry. They're just. Well, it's a long story short. Is I took a video off the internet that was all this interview with all this teleprogram, and I edited out all the teleprogram and just put all the interview together and uploaded it to a B-side channel, so so that we could use it. And then somebody else downloaded that and uploaded it to their channel, and I was like, "What? I did all that editing, and you just put it on your channel, you chuffer." So. I don't know. I called them out on it. Yeah, it is. It's just rude. Yeah, the ghosts are not going to. The ghosts are going to be well fucked off with them. I'm going to set them on them. So the idea of this, right, as well, though. Yeah, I've got another question about this before we get off spirits. This is something I wanted to relate to America and like more get your feel on this. Like you were saying about this sad place with this, sad history. There's been a lot of dead people over the years, hasn't there? Like in the world. Yeah.
More dead people than there are alive, I'll bet.
Maybe there might actually. I don't know. Maybe there might be more alive ones because we keep having more of them. We like filling it up. Maybe. Well, we'll have to take a straw poll in chat. Are you dead or alive? Let's see how many people are dead and how many are alive. You tell me in chat if you're dead or alive, and we'll see how many if more people there are in chat, and that will give me an impression as to how many people. Yeah. So no, seriously though. There've been wars, right? There have been like bad wars. Like,
sure.
Yeah, and stuff like that.
Everywhere.
And there've been a lot of people that lived and died over the years. Isn't the place sort of thick with ghosts and spirits, or do they move on somewhere else? Is it just the ones that stick around? What's your feeling on that? Like,
I'm not. I'm really not an expert on this. It's just one of my passions, and I love this sort of talk. I think. All right, so the things where these really most people are dead also. There's these things where these really really bad things happen. I think have more likely ability to keep these spirits tied to them, and sort of keep them in that little realm because of it's all the horrible sad things that have happened there. I think it sort of acts like a magnet or cement or whatever, just to keep these things there. And that's what I feel.
So I guess what we're talking about then is there could be, like, in terms of, like you said about ghost hunting earlier, and like equipment to use to hunt ghosts. Yeah. Like, so I've got one other area to talk about with that, but yeah, it seems like there's a perfect storm of, like, we could get together the marginality, the liminality, the history, the maybe the sad history, and like if we were to be hunting ghosts, like we could hunt them in a certain, like, more specific and direct, targeted way, maybe. Like talking about this equipment then that hunts ghosts, right? Back when I was young. What time is it? It's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm saying this on the internet. Back when I was young, magic mushrooms were my preferred tool for hunting ghosts. Them and acid, and like
interesting.
I believed in some way that in that hallucinogenic, heightened, trippy state, like that liminality, I suppose, is that state maybe. So, do you think that narcotics and let's have a little discussion about the difference between technology and narcotics in terms of spirit hunting and ghosts. So we talked a little bit about some technologies. Tell me about the narcotic side and what you think about that.
I do think there are definitely benefits to that side. I'm not saying go out and do a bunch of drugs, of course not. But I used to go to raves quite a bit, and I did a lot of MDMA or ecstasy or whatever you want to call it. It was just more pure form of ecstasy, and the intuitive side of me just felt like it got ramped up quick and high. I felt so many things that I didn't normally. I felt people's emotions, all kinds of shit. So, that opened up things like, I think it opened up my understanding of there's so much that I don't see and that I can feel. And I've done psilocybin Tootsie Rolls a couple of times, and that I don't prefer tripping. But the next day, it's it opens up a lot.
Wait, what's a lot? I've heard this before. What's a Tootsie Roll though? Because I'm English.
Oh, it's just like a roll of chocolate.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah. So somebody basically put the psilocybin in that, and I ate it, and yeah, it was a weird experience. But I felt things different than I normally would. I think mainly because I didn't like it. I didn't have as much experience on it. But yeah, I do think that it can be a definite conduit, or fuck, what's the word I'm looking for? It extends those abilities, sort of, or it can sort of open you up to see that there are different and bigger things to feel, sort of, sometimes. You know what I mean? Maybe. Sort of just talk.
Snooze asking, can my episode be that we do mushrooms live on stream together?
Oh, hell yeah.
No, wait, there's a problem, right? Which is that when I take mushrooms, I tend to destroy my environment, and all the stuff I've got around me here is quite expensive. Like, I tend to tear things off walls and pull off, like, if there's a poster up, I don't want that up there. I have to have that down. So like I'll be in someone's bed. I've been in someone's bedroom and had to remove the posters and stuff like that. So I don't know what I'm going to do with these screens and these lights. I wouldn't like this whole setup. I'd have to be a lot more chilled out than this. But maybe
I would love to see that episode. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And Snoot tends to cry. So.
Oh, great. I'll be destroying the room and Snood will be crying about it. That'll be a great episode. The worst mushroom experience ever. We should do it in a restaurant. The aspect here as well that's coming up with this, that ringing alarm bells in my mind, is that when you start to enter into what, I mean, I was a younger person doing a bit of experimenting. I'm sure you were too. I'm pretty sure that neither of us now are like banging those narcotics on the daily, but it does take some, like, for a normal person in a normal day-to-day 9 to 5, without this other worldliness going on, it kind of puts us in that marginalized category in a way, doesn't it? Or anyone that uses it. A great comment was about shaman in chat there. Who said that? Was it Ricky Raw, wasn't it? Ricky Raw said about the shaman would use narcotics, traditionally maybe. So do you think that these days, like, it's a problem that if you say that you smoked some weed or you did a thing, like, then it puts you in this, oh, they're nutters, they're just like, off their head. Do you think that's a problem with this sort of thing, maybe?
Yeah. Like a problem as in,
like, for you to be believed
saying they're like, crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. Yeah, because a lot of people, especially people who haven't experienced some of these things and know that it doesn't make you into a crazy person, then they're going to be like, oh, he's just tripping, he's just high, he's just rolling, he's whatever, he's any of these things, and you can't trust that. So I think that's definitely an issue.
It's really interesting as well, because in the X-Files, you've got like Mulder and Scully, and they're like professionals. They're the FBI, they're out there with their badges and their guns. But if they were to be like, and then for this episode, we're going to like take some mushrooms and smoke some weed and then go out and do stuff, like they wouldn't look as professional. No,
they wouldn't.
Yeah, it's interesting that the sci-fi stuff gets put in that, maybe for me, more clear-cut, clean, professional world where we've got measurement equipment and we're doing this, and then this other world, like even. You mentioned crystals earlier. You poo-pooed them, so I'm not going to go to ask you too much about them any further than that. But even that whole world, like it's more like long hair, like crystal, like you have those bead curtains, and you don't have a proper curtains on your window. You've taped up a sort of big flag, and then like you've got incense, and one of your mates is called something like Fish Burger, and like they don't wear their shoes.
The other one is Fudgy.
Yeah, and like everyone needs a wash. Someone's written their phone number on the wall, or the phone number of the dealer on the wall in marker pen. That's that sort of world. So the more we go down that road, the less we feel like professional ghost hunters and stuff, don't we? So it's an interesting contrast that. I did want to say as well in chat, someone's clocked that you're being represented as one of Darkseid Phil's excellent illustrations. I
am, and he made this for us, and it was really sweet.
And Brian, Brian's asked if you want me to read your question out, then you really should have tippied it. But it's a really good question, so I'm going to ask it anyway. In chat, it's not relevant, but in chat, if you wanted to be a cartoon, who would you like to be? So who either
my
best
God,
represents
that's a
you?
good question.
Everyone in chat can tell me their answers, please, as well. Who best represents you as a cartoon, but also who would you want to be? I'm going to ask you that question as well, just as a random one, Indrid. If you were going to be a cartoon,
Dude, I saw somebody say Jessica Rabbit, and
ooh,
that
she's a hottie.
she is. She's super hot. I like having trouble thinking of cartoon ladies right now. That would be a cool one.
I'd be Scooby
I always
Doo.
thought like being it like Sandy Cheeks from like SpongeBob would be cool. No, I'd be Courage the Cowardly Dog. Are you kidding me? The dog has a lot of fun. Sort of. Not really, but that would be great.
I don't know if I know Courage the Cowardly Dog.
What? Oh, he's a great cartoon. He's an American cartoon from Cartoon Network, and
See, America's so big, isn't it? Well, we did have that Cartoon Network in England. We did have that as well.
Yeah.
So I should recognise this.
Yeah, that pink little dog that they live in the middle of nowhere.
He looks like a sausage.
Weird shit. I know. He's great.
I'd definitely be Scooby Doo. I think it's just an easy choice. Right.
I think that suits you. Yeah.
What's Harley Quinn? Does that count? I suppose she is. She's a cartoon character in a way, isn't she? Like we're talking comic books now. In the world, I didn't realise I could be an X-Man. I've chosen Scooby Doo. Fuck it, I could have had mega powers. And now all I get is a sandwich when Shaggy leaves it lying around by mistake.
I am a real cartoon, yes, and Snoop's gonna do his own stream on mushrooms. That's nice. I like that. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, that I could see you as Scooby Doo. That'd be cool. So we'd both be dogs.
Yeah. I wonder what this says about us. Like, do psychic people prefer to be animals? Oh, that's an actual question. Look at that, how I shoehorned it round.
That's a good question.
Actually, I shoehorned it round. BCTV says their cartoon is Wilma or Dino Flintstone. Dino Flintstone.
Nice.
So animals have psychic powers, yes or no? I think the answer is yes, isn't it?
I think it's more. I think what people say are psychic powers, I think, is a lot of intuition. And yeah, there are different things that are considered psychic, sure, like smelling feelings or whatever. I think the animals are highly intuitive and can sense those things. So I think yeah, that cat.
That cat, it's a psychic cat. It chooses it chooses the football team that's going to win, and they put the jersey on it. So there it is.
Dude, really?
Mid-jersey. That's how it has. Yeah, it's a real psychic.
That's awesome. What a cool cat.
Predicts Russia win the World Cup. Look. So.
Oh. I do think animals have. They're more animals than. We're animals too, but I think they do listen to that intuition because they don't have that whole repressive, oh, this isn't normal thing. I think that's a huge part of it.
I just always thought that like my cat could still like you get this. Okay, so you turn off the lights. Oh, the cat can still see. You just take it as read, don't you? Like you assume the cat can see because it's got like special night vision. And earlier on, you were talking about night vision for detecting ghosts and stuff. And I just feel like if you've got a wider sensory perceptive range, like we only see a certain amount of light, we only hear a certain amount of sound. There's subsonic sound that we don't hear, and there's supersonic sound that we don't hear. And like the cat, like that high pitched noise that some people hear and some people don't, and I think if you're going to talk about range and frequency, then an animal like this that has clearly got a widened range and frequency of the senses that we take for granted, and my dog can smell stuff better and stuff like that. So maybe like animals, and psychic go together. And also it seems that in all our mythology and mythos and history with it, witches have cats. Yeah, like they're familiar, like they're used in that, like even going back to the ancient Egyptians as well, where it seems a bit more mystic and a bit more like, ooh, have you seen my nice headdress? Ooh, that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, this bougie headdress.
Yeah. I hear the king's getting old. Damn it, he's going to murder me and bury me with him. But at least I get to go to the afterlife and look after him there. They had a bit more of a sort of like afterlife sort of vibe going on as well, didn't they? So I was talking about that. Yeah. I don't know. Everyone keeps saying about my cat. Yeah, my cat. It's going to come back from the vet tomorrow, and it's going to hopefully feel a bit better, and then it's going to have like between 6 weeks and 6 months, and then it's going to all be like sad again. But we're going to just like one day at a time, aren't we? I'm not going to make him wear a jersey like this. Yeah, it just is what it is. Like I was a bit more sad when I got the news fresh, but thank you everyone for saying about the cat. And
Lost
thank you for the tippies.
my buddy of like 13 years last April, so
Oh.
that sucks, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, and like you know what it means, don't you? It's like they're not just items, are they? They're actual friends.
No.
So, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and he sensed, they can sense, they feel when you're sad, and it's, you didn't tell him, hey, I'm sad. You're just sitting there and you're sad. So, they definitely sense these things.
And in contrast to that, Damien says, lip smacking, thirst quenching, ace tasting, motivating, cool buzzing, skin hugging, cold chugging, chocolate soy milk. Here's a contribution towards keeping your bathtub topped up with the beautifying ambrosia. So thank you very much for that.
Nice.
You should write advertising copy. Yeah. So like the spirit world then, right? We've covered what I consider to be like a nice chunk of the spirit world. We're going to put that on the list of like whether we want to go deeper on that and places you can go. Do you have a lot more feelings and thoughts on that, like for a deep episode, or is that like what's your like? There seems to be multiple areas of interest here. How deep is your area of interest on the spirit world yourself?
I won't touch it, but it is interesting. Like, well, it scares the crap out of me. I absolutely believe in it.
a bit like my gym teacher's penis.
Yes, exactly.
I won't touch it, right? But it scares the crap out of
and I believe it's there, but I don't want to see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. I play a ghost hunting game. I play Phasmophobia with my friends. That's about as close as I will get to real ghost hunting. I have a friend who did it for a while and has quite a bit of stories, and I don't know how. So I think my area of knowledge is less ghost related. I'd definitely be into looking up more and exploring it more, though.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so on a sort of out of 10 range of like whether you would do this or not, we get a spirit box and we twiddle the knobs and like you do a stream with the spirit box. 1 out of 10 means no, I'm not doing it. 10 out of 10 means send me the spirit box. What would you do on that?
Spirit box, I would do that.
You would do that. Spirit box. Yeah, okay. You didn't give me an out of 10, so I can't categorically put it in my schedule.
Oh. So. I'd probably go with like a 7.
7 out of 10 spirit box. Okay. Spend a night in a haunted house, but it's like got beds and it's a nice hotel. It's just they say this room is haunted. This is the hotel suite. And this room is haunted. But you get room service and but you have to sleep. Do I have
a TV?
Yeah, it's a normal room. It's a hotel room. Yeah, like normal hotel room. Okay. But it's like in an old hotel and they say it's haunted and you get room service as well. Okay.
What would I do it? Which out of 10?
Yeah, 1 means you're not doing it. 10 means you are doing it. Yeah.
3 or 4.
3?
Probably a 3.
You get room service. It's laid on. Right.
Oh wait. Okay, maybe 4.
Oh yeah. So I managed to push you up by another 1 with the room service. What about if they what can make it better in a hotel room? What about if they have an array of pornography that you watch with your underage girlfriend that you refuse to pay for? Sorry, I'm joking about that horrible streamer again. What about if they let you set up your desk like your desk at home with your computer? And what about if the TV's got an HDMI lead? And I'm joking. They're dark side Phil jokes. They're dark side Phil jokes.
I'm not a chicken.
So not everyone will get them. So you'd do that, yeah? You'd go in the hotel room and you'd hang out for a bit, but you're only a 3. Only a 3.
Okay, 6.
6 now?
6.
That's quite different. Are you that? Am I able to shoehorn you around? Is it me that's convincing?
It sucks if I have to be in there alone. I think that's the huge part of it. But if I've got my Wi-Fi, got my TV, I feel less alone, and that makes it feel a little bit more comfortable for me. So
okay, so you could, but okay, so even if there wasn't a 1 though, so you can still be in a haunted environment, but you're saying that you'd have to sort of get through it, yeah?
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so this next one's going to be more difficult. I'm not expecting you to do this next one then. Okay. Because the next one is like, it's an old abandoned asylum and it's nighttime and it's like... That's a no. That's a... I'm out.
No, never. Like negative 1,000.
What about if I let you have a torch?
Negative like 999.
Yeah, so no, is there anything that... What about it's an old abandoned asylum but it's daytime?
Negative 500.
Still negative. Okay. There aren't going to be many options here, then, are there, for the old abandoned asylum? That's out. What about?
That's not happening.
Okay. What about? It's a really old building, like an old building, but it's like an old museum or an old historic building, like a castle or something like that. And they assume they've got ghosts and stuff like that, but it's really old and stuff like that. That's that one, and they've got like a tour guide that goes around with you, like.
Oh yeah, I'll do that.
That one's good. That one's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. What about? Okay. Wait. What about asylum with a tour guide?
With a tour guide.
Old asylum.
Like one.
But like they keep it like a museum and it's got a tour guide.
Okay. Asylum with a tour guide. It's still pretty low on the list again because of the shit that's happened there. It's more likely to have some malevolence attached to it.
Malevolence, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
like malevolent, sad energies and whatever. Sad history.
What
Shitty history.
Okay, so what about in Aztec Mexico where they have the ziggurat and they used to take people up there and sacrifice them at the top?
Oh my god.
You know that, yeah? Would you
Yeah.
You're not going to spend a night on top of that in a little tent? Take up your little tent.
No.
And you have to stay on top of that.
No.
So that's the sort of business that's out. Okay. What
Yeah.
about if there's like okay, up the road near me there's like a sort of like manor house and they think they might have a ghost and stuff like that? What if it was something like that? Like a one ghost deal in a big old housey. Do you know what I mean? Like a bit more like the castle thing, but somewhere between the castle and the asylum, because it's still like a nice, people live there and it's a nice big house, but it's old, and they think they've got one specific ghost.
I would not be able. Like, am I going ghost hunting? Am I spending the night there?
You just sort of have to hang out the night there, yeah. Just sort of, yeah.
That would probably be a no for me because all right. If I'm alone, hell no. If I got one person with me that's like trying to, keep my mind from like I'm gonna die. I'm gonna see something and I'm gonna have a heart attack. Then sure, maybe. Do
you think the other person would have to spend their time?
Maybe more.
Yeah, you're allowed the lights on. Yeah, you're allowed the lights on, except when it's nighttime. Except when it's like actually nighttime and you have to go to bed. Like you have to turn the lights off for bed. Like that, just for the what if we were doing? Okay, what if we were doing it with like a camera crew and like would you do ghost hunting in that? So, like, there's a camera, you have to talk to the camera and you have to say like, oh, I'm staying here in a haunted house. Do you think that camera crew would put off the ghosts and make you more safe, or do you think it would like anger them and make them more likely to come out and mess with
question.
you? Yeah.
I think my view is that the electronics and the intention of catching these things on camera, I think mainly it puts these things off, but I think there is a chance that it could make whatever angry enough to lash out, but I don't think it's likely that would happen.
Yeah. Okay. So the spirit world, we could talk about it in depth. You don't want to go on like a sort of spirit journey and anger the ghosts and mess about. And if you went on holiday and you checked into a hotel and they said, we've given you the dead hangman suite, and you said, what? And then they said, we've given you the dead hangman suite, and you'd be like, what do you mean? It's just a funny name, yeah? And they'd be like, no, the hangman was murdered by somebody that he hanged by a ghost, and the double ghost in that room, because it's the person they hanged and the hangman are both having a row. They're up there having a row. They're still rowing about it. You put it on. I'm not putting it on. You're putting it on. You fucking dickhead. Get off that. And so
yeah.
You'd be out.
That sounds funny though.
Time out.
Is
I don't
it
want
funny or is it scary?
I don't know. They're ghosts. So it's up to you. Do you enjoy them?
Oh shit.
Do they? Well, okay. So do you think? You did have to decide, but I'm guessing you're out. Like, you book into a nice little Airbnb, and then as you arrive, like the lady gives you the key and then vanishes, and then like, oh no, I don't like it here anymore. Yeah, so we've got ghosts, freaky ghosts. Who do you going to call? The Ghostbusters. Next, the Ghostbusters. So next on the list is moving into a more like Ghostbusters bridge this gap between sci-fi and ghosts, don't they? They've got technology and they're out there looking for it. We talked briefly about it with the spirit box and stuff. But I think where do we go from here? Yeah, I was gonna move us towards like sci-fi and alien stuff, and then I was gonna bring it back to Bigfoot because you said there was maybe a connection with Bigfoot and cryptids from aliens as well. So
yeah, I think they're intertwined for sure.
Yeah. So now, in a sort of X-Filesy, Muldery sort of way, I guess. What are your thoughts or experiences? Maybe do you have any experiences with extraterrestrial, or what's your overview on that? Can I do you a cheeky naughty? Can I do you a frightened? And I'm just going to quickly trip to the bathroom while you explain that.
I need one too. So you go and then I'll go.
Okay. I could put a video on, like a brief video of something.
Let's do it. That's a good idea.
Is it a good idea though? Because now I'm wondering what on earth I should have lined up for. I'll put a bit of backrooms. I'll put a bit. This will be fine, won't it?
Oh, smart. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We're just gonna. No, will it be?
Oh, that's a lovely ad. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to put a backrooms, and also in chat, I'm going to ask. Okay, you go now, and then whenever you get back, you get back. Yeah, go.
Okay.
In chat, I'm going to ask you a question as well, right? So that you've got something to discuss while I'm quickly at the bathroom as well. Which is, we're going to move on to aliens now. So I want to know aliens, whether yes or no, do they exist? Extraterrestrial life, has it been around for a long time? Has it been around for a short time? You know, that sort of question is on my mind. Is it a new phenomenon or an old phenomenon? I might actually just wait it out a little bit. You know, maybe I'll wait it out and talk to you as well. You know, we'll do a little like bathroom middle break. I'll quickly tell you for me as well. I have not ever been convinced by nor seen any evidence of any extraterrestrial activity. I've seen all the films and stuff. You know, I'm into all that, but I'm open-minded though, you see. So, oh, hello, you're back. That was really quick. What did you do? Just throw off the balcony?
I don't like being in bathrooms.
Just run out on the balcony and just pee off the balcony.
Yes, I do that.
Just open a window and just fucking go out the window. That's a simple system. So I was just explaining. I didn't even go anywhere myself. I just said, I'm going to go now so that you have to talk on your own. But I was saying that I don't really have any experience of this sort of stuff. And so I'm just going to be an open-minded person here and just listen to what you've got to say. So give me an overview about alien extraterrestrial.
All right. So, oh boy, what do I say? Oh my God, I'm alone. This is so nerve-wracking and crazy. Area 51, I don't know. All right, so I have some friends who are like this brings it back to the whole intuitive side. I think aliens are 100% real, actually. Yeah. I think they've been around for a very long time. Longer than we have, probably, maybe, possibly, probably. No, I have some friends that have been contacted in ways. I think it's mainly like entertain you. Oh my God, the alien abduction thing. That's sort of where I was going with it. I think that abduction is more done so mentally. I think that physical abductions definitely are possible. Yeah. Dr. Stephen Greer. That's interesting.
Keep yourself together. Come on, keep yourself together, woman. Sorry.
Shut up.
Sorry.
I was just. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Listen. You were just getting started on the. I wanted to get you onto this one point. You said that 100% real, and it's about contact and stuff like that, right? So let's just wind this back a little bit quickly, because I had questions.
Sure. Yeah, I didn't want to say too much because it was stuff that I definitely wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I could hear you. I got headphones. I just didn't want to take the microphone in the toilet with me.
No.
So yeah, first of all, right, aliens 100% real.
Fuck yeah.
Right. So that means any specific aliens, or is it just the general concept of there's loads of millions of planets, there must be aliens? Is it one or the other? Decepticons dropped to 10 dollars, so I'm gonna have to wait one day. I'll have to give that to Indrid because I can't spend dollars in England. But I believe in Bigfoot because I read it in an extremely convincing book from Amazon. It's called Asquatch, and I'd 100% recommend it to everyone. I should have read that before I said it. Really. BCTV has dropped $1.99 and says, playing with my dogs, nearly tea time, saying hi. That sounds like a nice way to be living. I'd enjoy playing with my dog if I wasn't sat here talking to you chuffer. My dog has to wait for his walkies today. But yeah, so yeah, 100% real, you said, and I'm asking whether it's 100% real, long, big picture, or is it specific things that are going on that make people think it's real?
Like what do you mean, like pyramids, like long term? Like,
okay, so if you ask me, could aliens exist? I'd say in the infinite universe, it's quite likely that somewhere out there something else is evolving. Yeah, I'd agree with that as a simple concept. Whether they've evolved to space flight, have come here and like sucked me off in the night. I think that's... I don't. That's a whole different jump, isn't it? Whether they've come specifically here and started messing with us. But aliens is a big, broad concept. I don't know if anyone would be able to poo-poo it completely because it's so broad, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
But then maybe we're saying that's what I'm asking you. Is it just so broad that it could be anything, or is it some specific stuff that's going on? Like,
I think I think it's sort of both. Since we don't have concrete proof that it is one or the other, you know. Fuck, man. There's so much. Like, you know, there are some videos that have been released from the Air Force and whatever that's shown you certain things, whatever, and then people have seen things that can say that it's like another species or something. Is that sort of what you mean? I'm
okay.
I tend to go off topic from myself.
Okay. Right. So aliens, right? Aliens. We've got old versus new, I'd say, right? So whether it's always been around and like, you know, aliens came here a long, long time ago and it's always been around, or is it a new concept? There's a question.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I'll do them
always
bit by bit.
Been around.
You think they've always been around?
I think they've always. Yeah.
Right, so we've got old aliens as a topic. Then the next question is, like in chat, people were saying about flying items and people thinking it's aircraft, and you said about Air Force videos. There's a lot of evidence. I suppose the UFO itself, the unidentified flying object, of which some things are Chinese balloons and other things might be, you know, whatever. Like we have to accept that some of it is just, you know, turns out to be something that we can measure or see, but other stuff people are still like questioning. That's like a topic in itself, like UFOs, isn't it? Maybe all aliens don't fly around in the sky, like if they've been here a long time. Like,
I think that is true because I think I had brought it up while you were in the loo.
I could hear you.
Yeah. I think a lot of abductions are done mentally.
Right, so like, we can talk about UFOs as a concept, but it doesn't mean that that's everything in the alien world is covered by UFOs, yeah? So now we've got mental aliens as well. I've just written mentals, that'll go.
that won't be forgotten later.
Of which... Are they all the same alien group, do you think, or are these separate things? I'm just asking generally your feelings as well. Like, you know, is it the same aliens that are doing the UFOs, are doing the abductions, have been here a long time, or are there different alien groups that work on Earth? Is it one set have come from somewhere, or is it different ones?
I think it could be a little bit of both. I think there are certain groups that may come here, and then, you know, parts of that same group will contact people mentally, or I guess if you want to say psychically or intuitively, things like that. But I think there's no way to know for sure. I think my feelings are it's a little bit of both.
Okay, and then
they probably have the capability of both.
And then, do you think the?
Give me 1 second. One second. Sorry.
All right, okay, I'm talking on my own now for a second, I see. Right. I thought I was just going to shut up. You telling me in chat, right, you've got lots of different ideas about this one. This is not as consistent as the psychics, was it? Martians hate Elon Musk. Elon Musk's going to come and make a land grab. Did we discuss ancient aliens in Egypt? Not really. We're just talking. What I'm trying to talk about at the moment is I'm trying to get a general overview of concepts that Indrid is interested in and feels confident to talk on, and then we're going to line up. Okay. You can still hear me, or did you just start hearing me?
I was a little bit distracted.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, I was just saying that the concept here is that we're getting an overview of the different concepts and ideas that we're talking about, and then once we've got that overview, we'll probably get, because there's so much to talk about, we'll probably get quite a lot of ideas out, and it's like getting all the different toys out of the box. We're going to get all these different toys out of the box, and then we're going to organise them into which order we're going to play with them in.
I like that.
Yeah, so we're talking general concepts at the moment. I was explaining to chat, and we haven't done ancient aliens yet, but we're talking general concepts at the moment. And I'm Mulder. I'm well, not necessarily as, I'm probably more Scully really, because I'm the one that's like, I don't know about this stuff, didn't necessarily believe in aliens, but I'm not going to come here and poo-poo you. You're like my occult correspondent, and you're going to fill me in, right?
Okay.
So we've got.
I like it. It's fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun. Yeah. So we've got UFOs. They could possibly be the same ones. They could be different ones. We've got aliens on the psychic spectrum. So then, is that where there's this crossover between magic, the psychic, ghosts, aliens? Do they occupy that same space of fourth dimension or whatever it is that we're talking about, or is it something different?
So I have a theory that I'm aware is, it sounds really weird. I think that, so the whole intuitive thing that I was talking about, that I think humans have had since the beginning of humanity. I think that because the reason I have my tarot cards is I wanted to try and reach out to some of these entities and things, but I think that they've realized that humans do have this ability, and I don't know who it is. I really don't. I'm not gonna say it's the Greys or it's the Dog Star aliens, whatever, but I think that they've realized that humans do have this intuitive ability, and they're what are you looking up?
Sorry, someone in chat sent a super chat. B Kletjog said, Chuffer, you're a tonic in this mad world. Alex Collier, look him up, seen a UFO. So I was looking for Alex Collier who's seen a UFO, but it came up with all these other Alex Colliers. Sorry, I didn't mean to distract you.
Okay. No, it's okay. I distract myself because I have a hard time like actually putting these thoughts into words that don't sound absolutely insane. But I think that they realize, okay, I've said this like 3 times now, these aliens do realize that humans have this intuitive ability where that they've sort of picked and chosen who they're, because I felt things that I can't really explain, and this is what makes it more tangible for me, is that I'm sort of being told something in this way. So that puts it into that sort of psychic realm for me, but I'm not saying it's like psychic abilities or anything either. So it just kind of crosses over a little bit, You know what I mean?
Yeah. Talking of the mad thing as well, right? Talking when the people think they're crazy and this and that.
Right.
The whole concept of this that we're doing is that I'm going to put all that aside at the door. That's the whole point of this, is that when this space is like the safe space where we're just going to investigate and talk and any idea is open. Because if we don't have that space where we like treat things legit and open our minds and think it could be possible, then how can you just say, right, I've debunked it and then it's rubbish and then just move on? Like, it seems like it seems like you need to have like, and it might not be that for the whole of my daytime I'm always like on this side of things, but a bit like I guess sometimes, like when the mood's right, you might watch a horror movie and like, it's dark and you watch a horror movie and you get really into it, and then like you're not really going to go down the shed at night after that. You just get the willies. Although it's the daytime for us and like it's not that sort of vibe, but I just think that we need a space sometimes to like have these feelings and thoughts and to let them become more real in our minds, so that we can decide how we feel about them and stuff. Like
absolutely.
And maybe even with some of them, not decide how we feel about them because we never really know. And it will come on in a bit when I ask you questions about like angels and demons a little bit, but some stuff we don't really know, do we? So we've got aliens that maybe do this mental stuff. Like, okay, so do the aliens live on Earth? or do they visit Earth? Is a different question then.
Interesting question though. There's a book called Edidorpa that talks about it's from the late 1800s, from the 1800s. This guy is an alchemist, and he is taken sort of down into the Mammoth Cave system in Kentucky. It's a weird spelling of it. It's Aphrodite backwards, basically, if you're trying to look it up. And there is this race of beings that are sort of like cave dwellers, and they're sort of alien-ish. So I think that there are some. Oh look, that's the Kentucky Goblins. I love those.
Is this what you were sort of talking about? These people underground that, like.
That's sort of here. Let me.
Is this something, or is this something different?
Or, let me find the image I'm thinking of. You're
doing the internet. You don't have to do that. You're the guest. You tell me, and I'll do it if you want.
Okay, so look up. I'll tell you the spelling of it. Okay. ETIDOR. HPA. Edidor.
What's that?
Edidor, but there's a book cover right there. Yeah, the one that with the old man and the weird that one. So
better be a big picture. It's a big picture. Yes.
Yeah. So that's the sort of being that he describes being down in the cave system.
Like a sex doll.
That to me, yeah, that is like a version of Alien.
Looks like Elon Musk before he puts his face on.
Yeah, it must be. He's just woken up. He's gonna put his face on.
No, it all makes sense because, like, if you're going to put a face mask on, then you've got to have a big shiny head like that. He's dripping. He looks like he's dripping.
Yeah. So so in these caves, it's full of like water. You know, it's very drippy down there. It's very watery and wet and moist. And
okay, so wait. Is this a Google Maps thing? Is this America again? Is this big old America?
Yeah, it's in Kentucky. The Mammoth Cave system.
Okay, wait. Kentucky. I've got to guess where Kentucky is, so I'm going to say maybe. Oh, really? I was thinking desert. Right. I was looking over here in the desert.
Nope.
Kentucky.
Not quite.
They have the Kentucky. Well, there, look.
Coast.
There it is.
Yeah.
Where all the chicken.
Yeah,
they have all the chicken.
Huge.
Famous for the chicken.
Cage. Yeah, they're fried chicken.
Yeah.
There's a huge cave system that runs underneath it. Mammoth Cave system. There's a bunch of weird stuff there.
You can't see that on Google Maps, can you? But yeah, like look at the size of the place.
No.
Like it's like Kentucky is all this over here, yeah. Like,
yeah, it's very large.
Yeah, and going through to Tennessee and Nashville and stuff. This is also, I've got it in my mind, right? I might be wrong, but isn't it like you're up in the mountains and you're making some moonshine and like you're hiding things and you're rushing about and messing about? Like, is that right?
Yeah. I think you're. Whoosh! I think you're definitely like spot on. That's kind of where the whole redneck making moonshine on his back porch comes from, you know.
Apparently, I've got to Google Dr. Stephen Greer as well, so I will do it because I've been paid to do so. So this will happen.
Do it. You're contractually obligated.
That's Dr. Stephen Greer. He's got his face, smile, generally a smile. I'm guessing this is him.
Stephen Greer.
Looks like he's been out in the sun.
I'm gonna look it up as well.
Why do I?
Because I don't really know what he's.
He's a ufologist,
right? Yeah, exactly. I haven't read anything by him. I've really only read The Secret Cipher of the Euphonauts, which is an interesting one. And a whole other facet of this.
You see, now instinctively, part of me, what I would tend to do is I'd look at something like this and I'd be like, "Oh, who's this chuffer? I could do a debunk on this." I'd probably react to it and try and say, "Oh, he's speaking a load of chuff," wouldn't I? Like, my instinctive daytime, no nonsense approach would probably say instinctively, like, he's maybe not. Is he credible? Do people like take him seriously?
Right.
And I've got another question about the marginalized as well. The ufologist, I get this feeling that being in UFO world and being in sci-fi world is less marginalized. You get fewer, you're more believable. You don't have to be the margin. Am I getting that right?
Right.
Is it something?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, because people I feel like more people are more inclined to believe alien stories rather than ghost stories, which I get completely. And there does still seem with all of these paranormal things, there seems to be the trend of liminality, marginality. I was gonna say Maybelline, but people
maybe she's
on
born
the
with
margins.
it. Maybe it's marmalade. Do you have marmalade?
Maybe it's marginality.
Do you have marmalade?
I do like marmalade. Yeah, I do.
I didn't know if America had it, because you have jelly.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to have it a lot when I was a kid.
In England, I'll show you a jelly.
On my toast.
I'll show you a jelly. This is going to blow your mind.
Yes.
All right.
Oh my God, yay.
This is going to blow your mind. This is a jelly.
That's a Jello.
See, that's a jelly.
That's Jello.
That's a jelly.
No.
See it on the internet. See jelly. Wibble wobble jelly on a plate. That's jelly. Yeah. That's what we have as jelly.
No.
So what you think is, you call that Jello?
Yeah, Jello.
Yeah, why does it need to be called? What's jelly then?
It's that shit in the jar up at the top.
Yeah, you spread it on toast
jelly,
like that, yeah.
Strawberry jelly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's jelly.
See, that's why you have to have Jello, because you've used jelly wrong, isn't it? Because that's jam.
True.
That's jam. What's jam?
But no, jam is things that are okay. So like jelly is sort of processed jam, basically. Jams because my mom makes jams.
Yeah.
She'll make peach jam
and it's
stuff.
jam, and she calls it. She doesn't say I'm making jelly today.
No, it's jam.
She's making jam.
So it's sort of jam is more sort of like a homemade factor to it.
Oh, it's confusing, isn't it? I wonder how that happened. I wonder how that happened.
I know.
At some point,
it's really stupid.
At some point, when all the Europeans went over on the boats, they should have really written down what they should have wanted to call jelly, and they should have stuck to it. So
yeah,
that's why
I think so.
Yeah,
I think it's their fault.
Yeah, definitely, and that's why they're angry now, and they come back as ghosts, and they can't sort it out.
Anyway, God, you figured it out.
Stephen Greer, we looked him up. We don't know a lot about him, but what I would say is that it looks like there's a more authoritative aspect to the alien stuff. But at the same time, can't there be like a more like? Didn't you just sort of say they were living underground and they've been living in caves for ages, right? And this sort of stuff.
Okay.
Like, does this not
seem?
So
that's one example.
Okay, so my question is like. You've got modern sci-fi people who are in this modern space age world doing their things, but you've also got this sort of old, has been here on Earth for a long time, maybe aspect. Are both right, or is it a bit of both, or like, what do you think?
I think it's a bit of both. Have you ever seen the movie The Abyss?
Yeah, but they're under. Oh, yeah, I was going to say they're under the sea, but yeah, they're under the sea. Yeah. But so is the spaceship at the end, isn't it? Don't want to spoil it for anyone, but it's. For probably like 50 years old.
There's aliens in there, in the ocean. Yeah. But it all seems possible for me. Like, again, I'm not saying definitively yes or no, but it just all seems really possible. And then again, like you see our banner, it's aliens, because we're aliens.
I just showed your channel again for a bit. Yeah. You should actually probably do some videos about it. Like, your channel sounds like it. I like the tractor beam thing. It all seems to tie in now, doesn't it? With the old spaceship.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. That's
do you think,
because it came from my interest in it.
Do you think going back to this American thing, yeah? Like, sure. We're talking about a sort of, and Snood was saying about like the history of Kentucky and places like that in chat. Like, we're talking about a sort of more folklory history thing here again, aren't we? With these aliens that have been here for a long time. And I was thinking when we started talking about it, that would be over in Area 51, which with my magic geography, I'm guessing is over here somewhere.
It's in New Mexico. You were right.
Woo, woo! There it is. The aliens apparently crash landed over there. There's a lot of talk about Area 51. It's a 1950s, 1970s thing. You've got all of the sort of culture surrounding it. That fed into what we ended up with X-Files, isn't it? It's like a modern approach to that same sort of vibe, isn't it? Like the Californians out there with their signs saying, abduct me.
Beam me up.
That's it.
Beam me up.
But they did, didn't they? They sort of sat out there and like hoped the aliens would, come to take them away in the desert and stuff. And
yeah, I mean, I had a friend who lives in Virginia who wanted to come out to Colorado and go up onto a certain mountaintop that is, but I can't remember which one, but he wanted to go out there and basically try to get abducted. And I was just like, no. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Maybe. But I was just like, I don't really know if I want to go camping out there and like try to get abducted. That just seems like you're
by
in
aliens,
trouble.
Or just by people making moonshine.
Yeah, that's also that's a good point. Could be abducted by those people.
So, okay, just specifically on abduction there then, is it the space aliens with the UFOs that do the abduction, or is it the folklore aliens that could have been here a longer time?
Okay, so if you're being physically abducted, I feel like it's more likely that they're coming from another place and doing it. Because in Metadorpa,
like Canada,
like Canada, right?
Like coming from Canada
like
and
Canadian aliens.
Well, you mean like a far away place, like another like Sweden,
like another galaxy.
Like another galaxy, Papua New Guinea. Yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah, exactly that.
Really far away.
But like now that I think about it, if it is something here on Earth, then and they're doing like a mental sort of thing, they could just be bringing and see. Okay, this is where the other dimensions to me come into it, because I have a friend who's really, really into all this stuff, and he's really extremely intuitive, and he has told me about these stories where he was mentally essentially abducted. I've never been myself, which I'm a little bit grateful for. I don't know how I'd react to it. It probably sounds a little bit scary, but he said that he went to the same place each time. It's happened a handful of times, and it wasn't really like anywhere he'd ever seen. There are these trees and this grass, but it just had this feeling of being safe. He felt like it was not of this dimension, and so it was taking him to another. So that's kind of hard to like put my finger on, like yes or no specifically, like
so
are they coming from faraway places and abducting you, or what?
And you've got a liminality between the dimensions there again. It's not that they're abducting you and dragging you underground to these caves, or they're abducting you off in a spaceship to straight to another planet. It's that through a mental process or a psychic process, through a liminality, you in some way are in this other place.
Yeah, and it seems to align with a lot of stories, but I'm not saying like poo on physical abduction either. Like that's got to be possible. And I know that people can be hypnotized into being abducted or having their memories brought forward of these experiences too. I've seen some things about that, which is pretty interesting.
Okay, so I've got some questions for you then about like how far, like how confident you feel about aliens and what's going on, and like let's say we did a whole show on it. Do you think you've got like lots more stuff to reveal and explore there, or like or does it scare you and you don't want to touch it like ghosts?
I love it. I love it so much.
You love aliens, right?
Oh yeah, it's so interesting. There's so much to it, and there's so much I don't know, and it's a huge passion of mine. And I think I'd linked you, Hellier, but they dive so deeply into it, and there's a lot that I do need to learn. So I have sort of like a general knowledge of sort of a lot of these subjects. I don't have a truly deep knowledge. It's a lot of personal theories and personal education on it. So
Hellier,
it's that
right?
channel Planet Weird.
So Hellier, a couple of questions here that like come from slightly the critical part of my mind. I watched a bit of a couple of them, and what
you
occurred
did,
to,
yeah.
what occurred to me is it's on Planet. I didn't manage to watch all of it, like I said I might, but it's quite long, isn't it?
Right.
But it's on Planet Weird, right? And Planet Weird is all about like this sort of stuff. So it's a funny one for me, right? Because it would make sense that people that are interested in this stuff would go out and look and film and make stuff about it. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? But also they quite like we had a program in the UK, right? I'll just show you a different thing.
Okay. Sure.
Most Haunted. This is much more basic, okay? And what they did was they went to these places, and it's a woman from the telly, yeah? Like it's a woman from the telly, like she's off the telly. Like they made a telly program, and every week they went to somewhere and haunted place, and every week they filmed this, like in the dark, doing all this stuff, this sort of stuff, yeah. And every week, like something happened. Do you know what I mean? And they came to our town once and did it in a little place that's like an old museum, and someone threw a spoon. And like, honestly, no one's ever reported any cutlery moving around. It'd never been reported to have any paranormal activity until the day they turned up and the spoon went. It was only like a normal spoon as well.
Oh my god!
So is it like that with Helia? Do you like? There's two sides of this story, isn't there? There are people that want things to happen, so they go and make them happen and film things, and then there are people that maybe are interested in stuff, so are exploring it and keeping an open mind. Maybe like, is there a spectrum to that sort of media? Like,
the difference between Most Haunted is, like, I don't believe that these things will happen on camera because they're not supposed to, they're not meant to, and I think that whatever you're doing is aware of if you've got these things there. What's interesting about Hellier is that these things don't really happen on camera, and it's done in more of a more down-to-earth way, I guess.
They talk to a lot of people. They follow the story,
fantastic.
don't they? They follow the story and they talk to the people who have involved and had these experiences.
Yeah.
The filmmakers themselves say that they're fairly critical to start with, and they are going to keep an open mind, but they want to see things on camera and they want to sort of have things proved to them, and it follows that story, I guess.
Yeah, because it starts out with this guy who had sent a team of child ghost hunters an email years and years ago from Hellier, and he's saying he's got these goblins, is what he describes them as, these goblins like messing around in his house. And so they go to this town in Kentucky called Hellier in search of him because he never responded to their emails and stuff, and they go and ask about this guy. And they go and try to find him, and he's not there. Nobody's ever heard of him. It's all just very strange, and this whole series is sparked because of that weird email, and it's very interesting. They're just finding all these weird synchronicities, which are kind of like coincidences that seem to be pointed or have meaning, and it sort of just follows all that, and it's very interesting.
My question really is, how much do you trust them or anyone? Like, how much of this, whether it's about this specifically or about aliens or about ghosts and stuff, how much do you trust what you see and read, and where does it come from, and like, what is it to you that makes it authentic or inauthentic, and what's your where's your bar set? And,
it's always good to have a healthy bit of skepticism with whatever you're watching. You can't take all of this to be true. I'm sure that there are a couple of exaggerated things in this, but what makes me trust them is I've had, similar feelings, similar experiences, and they've been around for so long. They do the research, they show their work. And yeah, I think most of it is true, or mostly true. But yeah, I'm sure there's a couple of things that are exaggerated for sure.
But like in general, like if you were good, then how do I ask this? What I mean is, like, I'm not trying to be critical and like poo-poo it. What I'm trying to say is like, okay, for me, whatever I watch on the internet, I always think, oh yeah, but maybe it's just something on the internet. And so for me, I guess the proof of UFOs would be I'd have to like physically me see an alien, and even then I'd say, well, is that somebody dressed up, or is it like an actual alien? And I'd have to like go on these sort of journeys myself, I guess. I find it hard just to have people say things. So how is it this marginalized thing again? It's not really, is it, this time? It's about just like whether I find it too difficult to believe, I guess, is it? Or you know, what do you think's going
Yeah,
on
I
there?
think that's personal for you. And like, if you didn't believe it, I wouldn't blame you at all. And Dayglow Hour here, he and I have talked about this stuff pretty extensively. He knows a good bit too, and he has similar views to me. But I again, I can see where all this stuff is unbelievable, and it is it is good to doubt it, of course. And I've sort of lost my train of thought here. What?
What I was saying, I'm asking, like, okay, so first, okay, I'll put it this way. If some guy on the street came up to you and just said, like, I've got a video on my phone of an alien, like, you know, it's just some person on the street, isn't it? So, like, it's just like, okay, maybe you do or maybe you don't, I don't know. But then, like, there's a funny balance, I think, in the media where, like, who do you believe, who do you trust, and like if they're putting effort into making it, and like I want people to go. Like, if you gave me the money and I went out with my camera and I filmed a load of stuff and I was like, look, this is what I filmed, this is what it is, and then people said to me, oh, I don't believe you though because you're making a film and you want people to watch it, I'd be like, well, how do I win? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
and yeah, it is a weird balance.
It's a weird balance. So you think Helia is a good? I'm not like you think it's good and I don't. What I'm saying is you think this is a good like place to. They're trustworthy.
I think it's a good place to start.
Like they're trustworthy in general, or like, you know, do you know what I mean? And then this other guy came up, didn't he? Someone said in chat about this ufologist. It's weird. Okay, so for me, it's weird because if it was psychology, then you'd get a degree in psychology, and then you'd be the psychology person, and I'd go and I'd say that. Or a physicist, I go and watch that. You know, Sean Carroll or the fellow with the Joe Rogan clips.
Oh boy.
You know.
I know who, but I can't think of the name.
You'll tell me in chat, won't you? The fellow with the Joe Rogan clips. Nigel Tyson deGrasse. Yeah, like I'd listen to people.
Right.
Like or the you know, like, you know, there are people that I would go to and see them as authorities, and I wonder what qualifies people to be an authority on this and to be to have validity and to be believed. Do you know what I mean? And what
Dayglow said they seem pretty measured in their approach. In his opinion, I agree. I think it's a big part of it, and another part of it for me is that intuitive side that just feels like they're just trying to get their experience out there. They're not really trying to prove anything or disprove anything either, which feels pretty good. And yeah, they're just documenting their own personal journey, and a lot of it it resonates with me because, again, I felt and seen certain things, experienced certain similar things, and it just what really qualifies you to be an expert in these things is another question. There's another man that they talk about quite a bit in Hellier, Alan Greenfield, who wrote the Secret Cipher of the Euphonauts, and he seems to be a pretty big expert, and he was a Thelemite for a while, which is pretty weird. And he used to do like rituals and that sort of thing. I think it's just what requires you to be, what qualifies you as an expert. I think it's the amount that you really study this stuff, and I guess that you leave your mind open to these things. Can you go to college for this stuff? I don't think you can.
No, I don't think so. I don't think the standard academic world. I mean, you can do things like within it, like demonology, I guess, or like you could probably. There's probably the study of the paranormal. There probably is some sort of like within something like maybe within anthropology. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So let me ask you, because we've got like limited time, you've got to do your own show as well. Like we're into the third hour now, yeah. And I want to quickly on cryptids as well. We just ticked over 2 hours.
Sure.
So I want to alight on cryptids.
Yeah.
So let me ask you some questions about aliens and like give me the 1 to 10, like whether you would or wouldn't, right?
Okay. Sure.
So. Someone says that like they can see like, you know, lights in the sky. Do you want to run out and take a photo and a video? Like, you know, they're overhead nearby. 1 to 10.
11 out of 10.
You're running out.
11 out of 10. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, what if they abduct you?
That's fine. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the difference is. I can't tell you the tangible difference or like the definite difference between, ghosts want to take me back to their lair and show me that their sort of house or whatever, or if an alien wants to. I don't know the difference. It's just it just seems so interesting, and yeah, there is a level of fear to it, but that my curiosity sort of overrides that.
Okay, because I don't know if you've seen that film. There is a chance that it go on your face, and then and it's on your face.
Alien?
Yeah, and then you go to sleep for a bit, and you think you're all right, but then later on, it all kicks off. Yeah, so you don't want that happening.
It comes out of your chest.
Yeah, you go for the world's worst shit, and then everyone gets murdered.
Right. So there is that fear, but then seeing things like Arrival and Contact, it's just like, why wouldn't I? Because there's always the possibility.
Sorry, I brought the cat again for mistake.
There's always a possibility that it could be the coolest thing ever.
Okay, so you don't, but do you see it as like a life-threatening risk, or is it just like they're going to put you back at the end? You're pretty confident.
My view of alien. Okay, unless they're gray, I'm pretty sure
those fucking greys.
they're gonna put me back.
You're not an alien racist, are you?
No, I'm
greys.
Scared.
Just don't like the grey ones. Those fucking greys.
The grey ones
coming over here,
really
taking
mean.
all our. I don't know what they're taking. Anyway, look.
Taking all our dogs.
Taking all our dogs. Why are the grey ones? Okay, let's alight on that for a minute before we go on to the next question.
Okay.
Why are the grey ones mean, and what's going on? Are they specific different ones then? They're bad aliens.
They're from all right,
Russia, China, Chinese aliens,
China.
cheeseburger.
Greys will actually help you. I'm interested because I heard it was from the ones from the Dog Star that will actually be more kind, if you want to say it that way. Just from what I've heard, the Greys are very scientific, and they're not super lovey-feely, but I could be wrong. Yeah.
Okay, so
I don't know.
Alien
It's
Spaceship
just
comes
from what I
out,
read.
right? Alien Spaceship comes out, and then you're like, it's out there, and it's sucking people up like this. It's not just overhead now. It's out there. It's sucking people up. You're out there. You're like, arms in the air. Take me.
I'm not sure if I'll be screaming like "Take me, but I'd just be like, okay, let's go.
You go out there. Would you wear a hat?
A hat?
Like
it's
going to be
like
you could
tinfoil?
do, like no, like a normal hat. Like if I'm going out, I usually put a hat on. Like put on my coat. Are you going in your wellies? What kind of dress code for the suck up?
I do have. Well, I mean, I'm probably just gonna be wearing what I'm wearing. They'll like.
Just go out as you're dressed.
Yeah. I mean, I'll put some jeans on. Gotta look nice.
Take anything? Do you take anything with you, or like get them a present? Maybe
my
get them a
Gryffindor
gift.
blanket. Right. I don't. Oh, a present. Shit. What are they gonna want? What are they gonna want from Earth?
I don't know. They suck up whatever they want, I suppose, don't they? But it just seems like when I go around someone's house for the first time, I'm tempted to buy them a little gift. It would be nice, little, like little hello, thanks very much for inviting me. Yeah, that sort of thing. Like, just would you, just take them a little gift.
I was gonna say maybe like tranquilizers in case things are really scary, but
Hi, thanks. Put a bottle of wine and some of my favourite tranquilizers. So enjoy those in your own time, and later on I'll be in charge of the spaceship. Just like,
yeah. Can I drive while you guys are like partying? That'd be cool.
That'd be knocked out. Do normal human tranquilizers? I suppose that's a different question. Do they normal human tranquilizers work?
Yeah, would they even work?
Yeah, they might do something funny to them. They might not like it. They might see it as a net negative after they've eaten them.
That's true.
Yeah. So,
good point.
Would you then, in that situation, I've given you the aliens are asleep, right? I've given you control of the spaceship. You could crash it, or we could have fun. Here's the stick. Have a go. Are you up for that, or is that taking it a bit too far? Have I overstepped my boundaries in the spaceship now?
Maybe if they didn't give us permission, I feel like it'd probably be like, no, let's not do that. But
Yeah,
if
we
they did, I'd be like,
we don't
let's
want
go.
to we don't want to start an intergalactic war by mistake, do we? By
Hell no.
joyriding a spaceship into the White House.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, so, and talking about them and everything is cool. Like, you're happy to do episodes on that. What about the mental aspect, right? You said it wasn't just this physical thing. So what about the mental aspect of, like, isn't abduction, okay, here's a question then, that, like, on a 1 to 10, isn't abduction like a bad thing? Aren't people like, oh, they did bad things to me and experiments on me? Like, on a 1 to 10, how would you like to be abducted in that sense, the mental aspect, like your friend was saying? Is it a nice thing, or are they doing experiments?
He didn't seem so scared of it. The way he described it to me, it seemed mostly pleasant. And he was, he felt pretty safe the whole time. It was, I can't remember the reasoning that he told me that it had happened, but it sort of opened up doors for like Men in Black types that came and visited him afterwards. So that part, I guess, maybe was a little bit unwanted. But yeah, the mental aspect, I don't think I'd be so afraid of it if it were to happen. But that's that's maybe.
I found this Alex Collie guy they were talking about. This, he's on YouTube saying he was abducted by aliens. So I found him for you there.
Oh, sweet.
It's a 10-minute video. We're not going to watch it now, but like, thanks for bringing it to our attention. We might do a bit on that in a future episode.
Yeah.
I had a question then. What were you just saying?
Oh, I was talking about mental abduction.
And
then it might not be so bad.
it might not be so bad. Yeah, the experiment.
And I mentioned the Men in Black.
Oh yeah, the Men in Black. That was it. The Men in Black. So
yeah. Okay.
So now we're going to pull it round, right, through Men in Black into these, like, Mothman and Bigfoot, right? So who are the Men in Black? Like, you've mentioned them right now. I'm concerned because you've got your own stream to run, Detract Beam, in about 45 minutes. We're going to be...
What? 45 minutes?
No, we're like, we said about 3 hours today, so in about 45 minutes we're going to push 3 hours.
Okay.
So I don't want to keep you on too long. So I'm making you aware that we've got 45 minutes and we're into our last segment, which is going to be Men in Black and Bigfoot and Cryptids. So we want to make sure we've covered some of these. Sure. And these are big things, yeah. So who are the Men in Black? Go.
So the Men in Black, there are two possibilities. You should have known that was gonna happen.
Well, this is a problem for it, isn't it? Because, like, is it that what?
It's not like that at all. It's not.
So
Look
I guess
up, Men in Black, like Mothman. Try that.
But can I just say this, right? I think that what they've done here is, like, I don't know if this is right or wrong, but if the Men in Black are real and they don't want people to know about them, making this film and making it so Google brings this up, doesn't that act as like a smokescreen? Ooh, and, like, it makes me wonder why you can't get any like actual pictures of all you've got is Will Smith from now on, haven't you? Like, really, but yeah.
Yeah, really. So I think it might be kind of genius that they did that, because now Men in Black is not taken seriously. But yeah, here we go. The Men in Black are sort of literally just these men who wear black. And when the Mothman, that whole thing was happening in the 60s, they would come around and talk to some of the people that lived in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. And they were kind of weird because they didn't know how to use, like, ballpoint pens or, like, forks, just weird things like that. And they would talk in accents that you just can't place. And so it's just bizarre. You really couldn't place him. And I heard somebody mention recently in a Bigfoot, like, a memory or whatever, like a memory that they were telling back that, their experience with Bigfoot, that the Men in Black were actually sort of like a piece of the government. Like, they were sort of like this tribe of people, like oh God, the fuck.
CIA, the MI5, the FBI.
No, it's sort of, it's maybe, I guess, sort of like the FBI, but it's more like there are these oh shoot, I can't think of it. I'll think of it in a minute. But and then there's also another possibility that they're not from this world, and that they are, following cryptids around or whatever, which I think is a little bit more far-fetched, but I think it is a possibility.
So
Um,
they appear on the scene.
like a Freemason, society,
Ooh,
kind
the
of like that.
Masons have come up. Ooh, because people talk about the
Yeah,
Masons a lot in some of these. I don't want to say conspiracy theories. I want to say alternative like narratives,
it's.
maybe. But
I think conspiracy theories is okay.
yeah,
I
but
love
I think as
conspiracy.
well, if you label something a conspiracy theory, then it's off in the bin. Like it's like you're an idiot. It's madness
Right.
stuff. But if it's an alternative narrative, like these days, people talk about narratives and stories and stuff. Like hopefully, what we're doing today is interesting. It's a good listen. It might not be that everyone puts their coffee down and says, "Right, I now believe this," or "I now believe that." I just want it to be like an
Yeah.
interesting, like a podcasty show. And I'm not here to poo-poo you, like I said. So,
Sure.
the Men in Black, though, is a really interesting aspect of it that
Hell yeah, it is.
they seem to appear when the stuff goes down, whether it be aliens did a thing or, as we're going to talk about, Mothman and Bigfoot. I got the impression that they were almost like some sort of cleanup crew, or maybe they want to
Yeah.
gather
Yeah.
information or something. Like,
Yeah. That's the impression that I got as well. Because in this video that I was watching recently, they had come in after because this guy had experienced something with Bigfoot or it was like a baby Bigfoot something and ended up in this thing being dead, and he had forgotten about these things for years and years and years until something brought it out of him, and he remembers these what he called the Men in Black coming around afterwards and sort of like injecting something into him and kind of like making him forget things, and who knows what that could have actually been or meant or what, but that seems to be my impression too, is that they're like a cleanup crew, and it's fucking crazy. So who knows if they're of this world or another one. I think that yeah, they're definitely a cleanup crew.
yeah. So they're an interesting. It's funny in the same way as we talked about right at the start about the cards being a medium, like a conduit between the stories. The Men in Black sort of appear on the scene and have this quality of all the different aspects, don't they? And this mystery about them in all. It doesn't matter which way you follow the line, the mystery can go there with the Men in Black. It seems, whether they're government or alien, like they could be on either side.
They're a well-kept secret.
Daily Mail wants me to search real Men in Black footage, hotel security, and witness testimony. The thing is, I think
I
in
will
the
have to look
future,
that up too.
yeah, in the future we can do episodes on this featuring stuff like this. But
That sounds interesting as heck.
right now, because of copyright and stuff, I don't want to just play a random video on thing. But thanks, I'll log that and I'll have a look into it. You've got some hotel security recording. I'll play that a little bit, and this probably won't get us binned off.
I'm gonna actually look that up as well. Oh, okay. Let's see. So
What's going on? We just got people walking around. Is it this
and
chuffer?
it seems well. That's interesting though, because he's not aware.
Oh, there they go.
Interesting. Oh wow. And this is interesting though, like because who knows if this is intentional? Someone knows what they're doing, and they know that people are going to see this footage and be like, "Oh, what the hell? No, hell no," or be like, "That is Men in Black." So it's interesting though. It's very interesting.
Yeah. So it is interesting as well, isn't it? Like you said, it could be quite easily thrown in there. Like people could say, "Oh, it's easy to fake," and like it's one of these where if someone wants to say that you're mad, they can easily just say, "Oh, people just wear black clothes."
Yeah.
But at the same time, like this is where it gets a bit deeper, isn't it? Let's take it back then, like to this sort of area. The Men in Black appear. Like, tell me about the Mothman then, because that's like quite a big one for this, isn't it? This is like a big like linchpin.
Oh
of it
yeah,
all.
I have him tattooed on my chest. I love the Mothman. This is what brought me into all of this. There's a wonderful documentary called Eyes of the Mothman, and it takes it all the way back to Native American times, where this chief called oh god, I don't want to get his name wrong. Anyway, he put a curse over the land. So who knows if that's true and that's what happened. But so the Mothman, what happened in the mid to late 1960s, there were some weird sightings of this man who had a huge wingspan over Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and people were getting freaked out, and there were so many unconnected sources giving the same description of this man-sized moth with red eyes, and it there was another guy, where my name comes from, Indrid Cold. He's an alien who shows up on the side of the road during this whole time and is very, very woven into the Mothman story. And he takes this one guy to, it just takes him to his planet. I don't know. That's a whole different side of that story, but he seems to show up in this a lot. And a lot of people. So the whole story basically ends with the river between Point Pleasant and Ohio crashing into the did I say the river? The bridge between Ohio and Point Pleasant crashing into the water. And people say they saw the Mothman on top, and they think he caused it. Personally, I think he was kind of like warning people, like something's gonna happen. I think that he was an omen, sort of. It's just a weird time, and like Men in Black would come around to people who had seen him and sort of just be weird and sketchy, and seemed like they were trying to silence people in odd ways.
Is it?
Yeah.
Like, it's a bit weird to me that it seems to look. It looks like somewhere between a folklore like cryptid, like a unicorn, or like a vampire or something like that. But also, we're talking about more modern times, aren't we? And we're talking about more modern, more recent occurrences. So, like,
yes, it was Batman.
Well, like you said, there was an ancient Indian curse. Do you think, like, where is this? Is it combined things? Is this aliens? Is this occult? Like, it's like to me, I can't seem to pinpoint where it goes, like what it is, whether it's a beast or a demon or an alien.
Yeah.
So tell me about
that. And that's another thing, like with the angels and demons, is a lot of people think that angels just are different entities, and it's just how we perceive them, which goes into electromagnetic waves and things like that. And what's interesting about Kentucky and that whole side of the US is that there's a huge quartz deposit underneath that, and they're the Van Allen belts, which are like, electromagnetic belts. They sort of touch almost in that area. So it's sort of is it a collective hallucination, or is it this energy that's attracting these sorts of things to these areas?
So there's lots of sightings of the Mothman. Then it's not just like one or two. It's like you said, collective hallucination.
Hundreds.
It's hundreds.
Yeah.
Into modern times as well.
Yeah, and people say they're seeing him all over the world, and I'm not gonna say that that's bunk and that's stupid, because who knows? I mean, that would be so cool if he was still around, even though he's pretty scary. I think it'd probably be really
okay. This is a scary
encounter.
one. This is a scary one.
Yes and no
Not
to me. He's fascinating. He's fascinating. So it'd be hard for me to be like, oh yeah, absolutely, I don't want to meet him, because of course I do. That's so cool, Who doesn't want to see this thing up close? I mean, I'm sure there's lots of people who don't, but people are saying
for me, right, like getting into this world, like I said, I'd go to the haunted house. I'm not so sure I'd want to go and ride the spaceship myself, but like, if it's going to crash and kill me, I don't want to do that. But like this, if it's going to like bite my head off, then I'm absolutely out. Like, if we're in the woods and there was a bear, then I'm going to be like, there's a bear, let's go. Like, if I see that as well.
And then if you see this standing in front of you, it's scary. But
so does it want to bite your head off, or is it malevolent, like those other spirit things? Like,
that's a good point, because in all the stories that he's mentioned in, he never hurt anyone, never touched anyone. He didn't seem to have any malevolence, and I'm not sure how he would have caused that bridge to fall either. I think he was an omen, and I think he was just trying to warn people. It's possible. Maybe he was just, because from a lot of the stories, he was just kind of sort of checking things out and sort of observing. He never hurt anybody, so I don't think this is one that'll eat your head. No.
Is it living over a long period of time? Is it from another world, or is it born of our world? Like,
I don't know. I've never really thought of, I guess I've thought that it did come from somewhere else. I tend to picture him a lot more as a like, sort of partner of Indrid Cold, which I don't think is accurate, but I think that they did come from somewhere else together, possibly. I don't know if you're gonna find it. There's gonna be just the grinning man. Apparently, he would talk to you with just wouldn't move his lips and just had to have this smile on. They
I
call
thought
him the
Indrid Cold was
grinning
a
man.
more ancient, traditional, like folkloric.
He's an alien.
Is it alien?
Yeah. He apparently comes from oh shoot, what was it called? I can't remember. He comes from a different planet. Lanulos. I don't know what the fuck that is, but there's a guy, Woodrow Derenberger from all this. He
Burger? Did you
claimed
say
to have
burger?
traveled. Woodrow Derenberger.
Burger.
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 Woodrow Darren Cheeseburger. He claimed to have traveled with Indrid Cold to his home planet of Lanulos, which, that's kind of the only time we've ever heard of that planet. But
Right.
yeah.
So this is like quite
I
a
tend to
one-off,
picture them from
very
somewhere else.
specific thing.
What?
Yeah,
What
this is
you
like,
mean?
like they've come from a very specific place, and like it's not like they like there's other Mothmen out there on Earth that have evolved and are just hiding in the caves. It's like
No,
a specific visiting entity that has turned up. Someone asked me to ask about the Jersey Devil as well. Have you heard of the Jersey Devil?
Jersey Devil. I've heard of it. I don't know much about it. No.
Looks fucking not like
Indrid Cold
you
is a
do not want to.
handler
You
of
do
the
not want to run into this in the woods either. Like this looks
Fuck
like a
no.
similar sort of feeling to me.
Yeah, that one's scary to me. Also, I've heard that Dayglow. I remember hearing that Indrid Cold was sort of a handler of the Mothman, and he's lost control. Ooh, I think it's possible. I think it's definitely possible.
And this is going on in the same part of America. So is it like a coincidence? That you were saying,
Right.
Is it something to do with the crystals and the quartz? Because like in my mind, you've got this part of America just down here where there's got a lot of spiritual activity, the ghosts and stuff like that. You were saying, yeah. And then you've got like a underground cave system where you might have the Kentucky goblins and stuff like that, leading up to this point where there's the Mothman. Yeah, it's like in the same area. Am I right or wrong there?
Sorry. Can you give me 1 second? I'm sorry.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah, absolutely. Everyone in chat as well. You've all been very good today. You haven't mentioned too much about the. You haven't banged on to me about the Paul Ansell case and the Nicola Bulley case, which has been fine. Well done, everyone. I want you all to give yourself a round of applause. This is going quite well. I'm really pleased that we've managed to. I was worried, to tell you what. I was a little bit worried that it might be like, oh, I don't think this, and I worry about that, and I'm angry about this. But actually, it's a really interesting, ranging conversation, isn't it? You love Cryptids and myths, says Neil Warden. The Wendigo. Yeah, I tell you what. I played a really awesome game once. It was like a walking simulator, but you did, what was that called? Kona. I played Kona. And in Kona, you have a spiritual encounter as part of the game. Like,
I have Kona. I want to play that.
yeah, it's banging, actually. It's not this, whatever this is. So, shame for Kona there.
What was your question before? I'm sorry.
It's all going on in the same part of America. Like, not exactly. Like, America's big. Yeah, America's really big. So I'm not walking from Georgia to West Virginia. Like, I'm not walking it, am I?
You could. There
could.
are people that hike the Appalachian Trail.
How long does it take them?
A long time. I can't remember exactly.
They grow a big beard. Like,
there are some people that have, yes, yeah.
I remember when I was a young man, I started off in Atlanta, and yeah,
You
is it
walked
that?
all the way to New York.
How long would it take? Like, is it? I don't know. I'm not an expert, but like, it's like
months,
right? So,
yeah,
but in that range, you've got all of this different stuff. You've got like the Kentucky goblins. You've got the Georgia spirit, like Georgia and Alabama, and this like the old hurt and the ghosts and spirits of that aspect, leading up to this Mothman up more north, Columbus, Ohio here. like it's all going on all up here. Like,
Yeah, it's really interesting, and that's where, like, because I know that they've got the Appalachian Mountains, which in themselves it's freaky, and there's some weird stuff that happens there, and in that Hellier series, at one point they think they are sent coordinates of some kind, and so one of them goes off into these mountains and goes and tries to find him, and a helicopter seems to synchronistically fly over at just the same moment that he's showing up there, and it's just freaky. And there have been stories of rocks moving into sort of like an Edidorpa style situation where you'll see a tunnel and people will disappear into it and you can hear these things. So I think it has a lot to do with the caves and the mountains specifically, because there's so many places to hide. If you're going to come to Earth, you want to hide, especially if you're not a human and you look not human. I think it's a perfect place to be. These mountains or caves. Yeah. They sound crazy.
Well, no, like this is the concept, isn't it? It's like the other aspect of it, I suppose, is that people might say that there's a lot of people out here, right, and they're drinking a lot of moonshine and smoking a lot of meth, so like they're seeing a lot of weird shit.
Liminality, marginality,
liminality, I suppose. Yeah, like do you think it is anything to do with a culture and the way people live, or does it cross boundaries of culture like that? Was the Mothman and other stories, do they go back into the Native American history and things like that? Does it cross cultural boundaries?
I don't know.
I'm just going to fill up my water while you answer that. I'm just going to get a drink.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Does it cross like back into Native American times? I'm not sure that it. It very well could, because in the beginning of Eyes of the Mothman, there is talk of how Chief Cornstalk had cursed the land because of the invading settlers, and I think up to around when he died, he had again cursed the land, and so a lot of people blame him for what happened with the Mothman. But Dayglow says, in my opinion, I think it does. So, and I trust Dayglow with a lot of this stuff. So it absolutely could.
I mean, one thing I would say,
I just haven't really thought about it.
If you go over like further over here, like people over here and places like this, they full on believe like the witch doctors like talking to the dead and shit. Yeah, not like I'm not like. And then you go over to this part of the world, like it's not me being racist or anything, but in India they've got like a rich culture of what's the word, spirituality, and like a different religion, a different aspect of their religion, and about stuff like that. You head north, they believe that you get reincarnated, and like you've got monks that literally bury themselves in boxes because they want to like sublimate the you got all sorts of different ideas and thoughts going on, and the ideas about the alternative thoughts of like aliens or traditional I think most of these cultures deep in their history have got spirits and ghosts and like stuff like that, less so like aliens and spaceships and technologies, but maybe things that you could now reinterpret in that way, maybe. But
that's a good point.
And so why shouldn't America and like this part, because it's a much more modern people, why shouldn't they then start, being in tune with this sort of goings on as well, maybe?
That's a good point, though, because this, we've got people from all over the world in this country, but this country is as old as the rest of the world. It's just not been settled until a few hundred years ago. It's just, so there's a lot that we really don't know about this part of the world, especially the history of it, like the way early history, I think. So things like skinwalkers and if the Mothman was here,
skinwalkers. What's the skinwalker?
It's a Native American thing that is extremely terrifying. I don't know much about them. They're freaky as
Is that one?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. The way that I've seen them
If I see
depicted is a
that in the
little bit
woods, then we have to go back in the car.
I'd fucking
Get back in the car.
take off. I would take off and move
Yeah.
to a different country if I saw that.
Get
Fuck
back
that.
in the car. Put down the marshmallows and get back in the car. Like, what the fuck
We
is
are
that?
moving to a different planet. Fuck this one.
Skinwalkers.
Yeah.
Who's doing
So
skinwalkers?
Skinwalkers is a Native American thing. It's kind of
Why
like
is it-
if
please-
you've ever what?
First of all, is it like a zombie? Like, I'm hearing Skinwalker, and I'm hearing like I'm seeing this. I'm thinking it's like some kind of like zombie thing.
Right. Somebody in chat, Black Cat Sand Crow said they appear to look like people that you know, and I've heard that too. And then
I don't know anyone who looks like that, mate.
Also is also a very common one. They tend to have like just straight up black eyes too. That's what I've heard. Again, I don't know much about them.
There's one fella that sits down the pub that's like been there forever and he's wasting away, but even he's not like that. Jesus.
Dude, those are scary images. Oh my
Like,
god.
what's going on though? Like, what do you mean they look like people you know? Like, I should come home and I should question whether, like, hi mom, like, can I have a pull of your hair to just check you've got your head on right? What's going on? Like, skinwalkers look like people I know, or do I know ugly people?
I've heard that they can sort of. I really don't think that it's something that you should be like super worried about. I'm not sure. Fuck that, dude.
Out of all of them, this one's the most worrying one. That's just coming out near a house. That one, that is.
I know. That could just be like a really pale kid. It's a gamer. It's a gamer. That's what that is. A gamer.
Asmongold.
It's Asmongold. No, that's Phil Burnell.
Sorry, I love
That's
you,
Phil
Asmongold.
Burnell.
Yeah, Phil Burnell after the acid burns his skin when he. No, don't start me. Like, look, it's awful, isn't it? It's this looks bad. This looks bad. It could that be like some human person that's gone through some shit and ends up looking like a nutter? Like, is that what it is,
Maybe.
or is it like this is some sort of like you said they go back to ancient Indian times?
It's a Native American thing.
Right.
And I need to learn more about them because I really don't know much. All I know is that it's related to Native American history and their folklore and stuff.
Okay, so we don't like them. They're scary and bad. I don't like them. Let's
They're
get rid of
bad.
them.
They're
right, let's go on a different tip. Bigfoot.
bad.
Boom. Right, let's
Bigfoot.
drop on Bigfoot, and we're going to bring this round because we've had the Mothman's like a scary of Bigfoot in my mind. It's like we don't know what's going on in the woods, right? There's like a big chuffer in the woods, and it's a moth thing, and it might be aliens, and the Men in Black are involved, and all that. Yeah. With Bigfoot, it's coming all the way around to a place that I feel much more comfortable with. And on the Google Maps thing, right, it's like this folklore thing of something's been there forever. It's evolved there. It's lived there. Is Bigfoot aliens?
I think it's an interdimensional thing, personally, and like a lot of stories where Bigfoot is involved, he will come around. Lights will go off. You can't start the car. You can't take pictures of it. So he's got some sort of, I guess if you want to call it power or ability or whatever, to fuck with the electronics or anything that could be used to capture him, which is extremely convenient for him or them or her.
Is it one or is it lots of them then? Is it? Because when I was saying it evolved and it's there forever, then like, is it that? Am I not?
Oh,
is that not it? Like,
okay. Sorry. I think that he has been around for a really, really long time, for sure. But a lot of people, when they see him, he'll just sort of, they'll turn around and he'll be gone. And how does something that big move around and you don't hear it move away? So I think they can come in and out. And I think they've been coming in and out of here forever.
Oh, I see. Okay, so wait. Like, it's not something, when you say coming in and out transdimensionally, you mean like it doesn't live in the woods the whole time?
I think it's, I don't think that's not what I meant. I meant like, no. I don't think they're from this dimension. I could be wrong. They could be, and they could just be popping over to another one,
So do people see them in the woods? Wait. You've confused me now about Bigfoot.
Oh, no.
I'm going to go for this picture again because I like this picture the most. Like when I was a kid, I know what Bigfoot is, yeah? Like Bigfoot is, he lives in the woods and he's big and he's hairy and he's got his little Bigfoot kids and his Bigfoot wife. And then like there's like a tribe of Bigfoot somewhere and like just like you occasionally see one because they come out and like do some shopping. and like
Right.
like that. But like I think they were just like how we've got like gorillas in other countries, and like America's a big place, and like you say about hiding in caves and stuff, and like they're just like an
Yeah.
evolved ape that is really big and like a bear, yeah. And you don't see many
Sort
of
of,
them.
yeah.
Like you just don't see many of them, but they're out there, and they're maybe going extinct if they don't keep up the race or something. I think of it like that.
I
Yeah?
think it's a possibility. I don't.
Or
That's
is that
not how I feel
No, that's not how you
personally.
feel. Yeah, so let's tell me about the
No.
modern interpretation of this. Because in the olden days, they would go out in the woods, right, and they'd take a camera and they'd get like a photo of like it looks like something in the grass, and then you'd look at these photos and you'd say, "Oh, it looks like a thing in there," and then like it might be a bear or it might be a man, and then you go, "This is a footprint, but it's not a bear footprint," and like that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really big footprint.
Yeah. So, but you're saying that it comes into a new, different. It comes into a different area. It comes from a different place now. It's like something else. Like, tell me about the more modern interpretation of Bigfoot and how it ties in with the Men in Black and the aliens. Then.
So personally, this is me personally. Just from the things that the things that I've read and things that I've watched and other people's encounters with them. Personally, I think that there's a possibility that it does live here, and they're just popping out and whatever, and they've been here for a very long time. I do think that's entirely possible, but I think that personally they are not from this dimension, and they sort of and you know what, now that I'm saying it, I feel I'm going back and forth on my mind, like, yeah, they have
All right,
been
so
here for a while, and
you're
they
not even
started popping out.
decided. You're not even decided.
No, because there's so little evidence, and I think that they like it that way. There's not going to be a lot of evidence, not for a long time, because there's a really good story that I've heard that somebody's recounting their own memory of seeing Bigfoot. So this kid, I think it was actually in Kentucky as well. He had a friend who said that he had an orangutan, and he went to go and meet it, and they ended up naming him Mike because it would say that its name was Mike because it had heard somebody calling for their missing child, Mike, which turns out it was probably likely abducted by one of the parents of this little baby orangutan or whatever. Because there's whatever. So he is playing with this entity that looks like just a big monkey, and there's always this common theme that they smell like garbage, whatever, and they're fascinated. So I see Bigfoot as like a really scary thing because of some of these stories, but so the little ones, it was playing with this kid, and he would make these sounds, and these sounds would make this kid hallucinate, which is another thing called infrasound that sort of makes you see things as like melting or whatever. And so Bigfoot has all these weird abilities, basically.
So it goes back to what I was saying
with
about
humans.
with animals as well.
It's
like,
weird.
Cats have like, other sensory abilities that, we could consider to be even, like consider whether they're psychic or not. Some people do. Like the ancient Egyptians certainly seem to think they were and stuff like that, maybe. But this is one of these things. The Bigfoot has got like a sort of I don't want to say predatory. So
I don't know if it's predatory.
like, but it allows them to interact with you on a different mental level than you're really able to perceive is happening. So it causes you to hallucinate and things like that.
That's the infrasound factor, which I'm not an expert on that either.
Okay, so, but they've got like this other. They're like acting on a different sensory level than we normal humans do. We'll say that.
Yeah. What's interesting though, from what I've read, is that they can imitate almost anything, and a lot of people, they tend to hear like babies crying or whatever in like old mine shafts in Kentucky or wherever these things are. Also, they're often sighted. And
is it a Kentucky thing again?
Something they can do.
Bigfoot this part of the world again?
Yeah, because the one that I'm thinking of specifically, this story where he was hanging out with what he thought was like a monkey, it happened there. And I mean, they're all over, and like I'm undecided as if they're they've come from here, because they seem to be all over the damn US, like everywhere. So I mean, has there ever been a sighting of Bigfoot in England or anything?
No, we don't have a Bigfoot. No.
See, that's weird then, because maybe they are from
Sorry.
the U.S.
Yeah, well, one of the things about the United Kingdom as well is because we're a little island. Look, we're separated from the mainland, so like
Oh, right.
we were able to eradicate things like rabies and stuff like that.
And Bigfoot.
And we've scoured every inch. You know, everything's been allocated and portioned out. Like there's no hiding spaces around here really. The biggest sort of like forests and stuff like that. Look, like this is, you know, a big open area of nothing there. But that's the Peak District National Park. But we don't have many of those. Like we keep them as national parks, and they're between three very populated areas.
Yeah.
There's a forest and there. There's a bit up here. As you get to Scotland, it gets more, you know, spaced out. And stuff like that. But
it's so pretty though.
In the UK, you're not going to have a big, like, if he's hiding somewhere, people will be able to literally flush him out. So,
well, that's interesting though. I've sort of swayed myself now. So Dayglow, he got shoved off to Ireland. So I don't know what Dayglow thinks. I'd be curious to know. Like, do you think that he's been around for a really, really long time?
Yeah, tell me in chat. Is Bigfoot something that could be living in those hills?
An earthling.
Do you think it's just like, you know, not something at all? Is it just somebody out there in the woods dressed as a monkey, or is it is it a bear that people think is a Bigfoot, or is it like an alien, or does it like? Tell me whatever you think. You live in Scotland. You've not seen a Bigfoot. A Bigfoot as big as my husband, says Audrey.
Bigfoot is called a yowie in Australia. Am I saying that right? Yowie.
Yowie. In Australian.
It sounds like.
Good day, mate.
Yowie.
Stick some yowies on the barbie. I can't do it.
Okay. Yowie on the barbie. Oh my god, I can't do it either. Wow, that's pretty bad.
I should be able to.
Somebody says, yeah, fake. Yeah. Snood, you don't know. You're Canadian.
Stick a few prawns on the barbie. Sorry.
All right, Douglas and I personally think he's been around for a while. They could have gone into hiding as humans, get better tools, and record things. I think that is a good way to look at it. And I think
also, you've got the
probably
Yeti.
Really right.
Yeti as well.
Yeah. My mother heard a Yeti when she was young, or what she believes was a Yeti. I've never had any experience with this area myself. But you know, my mom has been skiing and stuff. She grew up in Colorado, and she was young. And
you mean in America?
What?
An American Yeti?
Yeah.
I thought they were up in the Indian mountains. I thought it was like like how you got like bears in America, but you've also got bears in Russia. Do you know what I mean? I thought it was like Yetis.
Yeah.
Like, or maybe think up here.
I think it may have just been a Bigfoot, or whatever. It's
you could have multiple Yetis, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could. But she heard something that made this really, really deep sound that went all the way up to so high she could almost not hear it. And it happened a few times, and it was apparently really, really terrifying. But it was about the closest thing I've had to any experience with this. Yetis are are they Nepalese? It could have just been
okay. I was right with Yetis. Ching ching ching. 10 points for whoever agreed with me in chat. You get 10 points, and simply because you agreed with me, I'll believe it like
Lorna.
It's fact. It was Nepal.
I think it's. I think that's likely.
That's Yetis over there. Like specifically. Just there.
In my mind, Yetis were like, it was kind of like a polar bear.
Yeah, and it gets cold up
like
there.
A white Bigfoot.
Yeah, it is a big white. It is like that, and because it lives up in the snow, up in these mountains, but maybe they are also in Americas as well. I've wanted to, there was another question that was in chat. Okay, ogres under bridges that was said in chat. There are actually, when you think about it, right? No, but listen, check this. When you think about it, there are actually loads of other stuff, aren't there? There's like dragons. There's like polar, like you could have yetis up here and stuff like that. I'm sure, like someone said, another one in chat. We've got the Loch Ness monster in the UK. Oh, that was it. There was the beast.
Oh yeah.
So in the UK, we've got the Loch Ness, which is in Scotland.
I always forget about that.
I don't know where it is. It's a big lake, and it's got like a giant monster beast in it, apparently. And then I shouldn't have said apparently like that. And then,
apparently.
But then also we've got this one. This might be weird for you as an American, but Bodmin Moor which I think is down this way. Yeah, there's Bodmin. They had was the Beast of Bodmin Moor? Or was the Beast of Bodmin Moor? Was that a criminal, or was it a big cat? I think what we
well, that sounds interesting.
Because in America you don't have to have like a giant ape man to do the news. You could just have like something the size of a jaguar, or a mountain cat.
Yeah.
And so there are sightings of big cats around in the countryside sometimes. And when I say big, I mean
bigger than a jaguar.
No, you could probably still win in a fight. You could, but not your dog.
Okay.
Your little dog's going to have a problem. But you would probably be all right. I don't know. Maybe I'm underestimating the mountain lion, but a big cat that shouldn't really be loose in the countryside. We don't have them in the UK, but yeah. So there are a lot of other sort of animals out there, aren't there? There are sort of a lot of other folklore. I know Mexico's got the chupacabra.
The chupacabra.
Chupacabra. Chupacabra.
Chupacabra.
I think it comes with a song. And
I don't know much about chupacabra either, but
chupacabra. And like, if you saw it, you probably have to do the dance first before you ran. But yeah, there's stuff all over the world, isn't there? Really, like you could probably do a world tour of like bizarre animals that people say they think they saw or whatever. Like I think of that as like there are lots of stuff that evolved and we don't know. Maybe there's one or two still going. Even stuff like dragons. Like we had old stories about giant lizards, didn't we? And we did have dinosaurs, didn't we? Do you believe in dinosaurs? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
They got the bones. Who doesn't? Is there anybody? Actually, I'm sure there is somebody that doesn't believe in dinosaurs.
Hell yeah, you're from America. You're from America. That's what goes on out there, isn't it? You should believe the Bible.
Dude, that's so true though. Fuck, man. That's so true. No, dinosaurs aren't real, and that's just people. Never mind. I'm not gonna go into that.
You should believe the Bible. So, I mean, I'm not even. Some people. Wait. Let's finish on this, right? Because we've got 5 more minutes, just as a quick fire round, right? Because we've opened up lots of different. Like I said, we would. We've got lots of toys out of the box. I'm going to make a poll while you answer these questions, and people are going to tell me their favorite.
You went to university with someone who didn't believe in dinosaurs. Nice. Right.
So, with all that said, with all that being said, the angels and the demons, the religion, the Christianity, the sort of organized, decided, that's all, for me, the angels and the demons, the heaven and the hell, that's all in the same sort of box, isn't it? The spirit world, things that may be believed in, we have to have faith and stuff like that. So where do you sit on that? And have you been taught that? And do you believe in angels and demons and stuff like that? Give me an overview while I type up a poll. Yeah.
I grew up in the southern U.S. It's very Christian there. I grew up as a non-denominational Christian. I am not that anymore. I'm a creationist, so I do believe in some form of creator. I think that something somewhere had a hand in helping create humanity. I don't know. It is very possible that it was just boom, big explosion. We're here. We don't know. But I don't believe necessarily in a God, and if he is there, I don't think it's who people say it is. The guy in the clouds with the beard who listens to everyone's thoughts simultaneously all at once.
Do demons exist? Because we were talking about the Ouija board earlier as well, weren't we? Do demons exist?
I don't know if I believe in a heaven or a hell either. So the concept of a demon, I think, is possibly just a malevolent spirit. I do think that there are malevolent entities that do want to fuck you up. I think it's extremely possible that they're around.
If I'm going to ask for a poll, right? These are my options. Okay. What's the most interesting for the deeper dive episode? We've got these topics then, yeah? We've got the spirit world. We talked about it earlier. We decided whether you'd stay in a scary house. We've got aliens. That's like a separate but overlapping sort of, but yeah, separate big topic aliens, including ancient aliens and stuff like that. And then Bigfoot and other cryptic animals. I'm not leaving something off the list there, am I?
No, it seems right.
Yeah. All right, ask the community.
Yeah.
It's in your hands now. It's in your hands. Roll the dice. What did you think was the most interesting and out of you? Now, that's you in chat now. I'm talking to you specifically. Put down your put down your ham sandwich, right, Susan? Right. and get your thumbs out, and let's see what you think on your. Get those thumbs flying. Get those fingers flying. Fastest finger first. Get those thumbs.
Clicky.
I want to see. What's your most interest? Oh, it's all changed. It's all moving. It moves as they.
Oh my God.
Wow! At my end, it's like I'm watching the election results. It's like I'm Donald Trump watching the election results come in. Look.
I know, right?
Where's my order from Florida? Like, where's I've ordered 50,000 votes. They should arrive soon, shouldn't they? Like,
yeah. Where are my damn votes?
I've got some machines coming in with my votes on them soon.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, the spirit world is big and popular, isn't it? Big and popular.
Yeah, it is. Personally, I voted for the Bigfoot and other cryptids.
You're not supposed to vote.
Subject.
You voted for your own poll.
I did. I voted. So maybe it's a good thing that it's losing. But yeah, it's a tough choice.
They like the spirit world.
Hi, extragalactic girl.
The worst thing for you is that the end result of this, is if it goes really well, like, I set you up in a haunted house and with a camera, and you have to record the goings on. Like, I might even pay for you to go to a nice haunted hotel with your boyfriend and like spending, you could do a little vlog from the haunted hotel. Like, we could, end game, of making content. You're gonna have to go out there. You don't have to, because it's your personal life. You don't mind. You don't want to put your picture on or whatever, do you? But
I mean, I've put my face out there. It's just today. It was probably best to do the picture.
Yeah, we might just start by doing another episode where we talk about it. But at some point, the end game there is to get in a haunted house and look for a ghost. I think.
I think I could work up to it. Possibly, going and staying at a famously haunted hotel. I think I could do it.
Yeah. What sort of things do you think you could do to increase or decrease your chances of having a spiritual encounter were that to happen?
I think having a camera on me the whole time would definitely make me feel safer, because of my personal, beliefs that they don't want to be caught on camera. So. But then I could be wrong, so who knows?
So do they know? Okay, so if you've got a secret camera, does the ghost know? Because it sees shit, or like.
Oh, I don't know. Huh? And that makes me think of that the Men in Black video that someone had sent you, that they possibly it didn't know that they were being filmed. Who knows? Who knows? They could. I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I'll put a secret camera somewhere, and we'll find out if the ghosties can see it.
We'll try and scare the ghosts.
Yeah.
If you had a good time in chat, I'm going to let you have 5 more minutes in chat now to say your thank yous very muches, and I'm going to say thank you very much, Indrid, for being here on the show. If you
thanks for having me.
Like, if you want to stay, you might have to go, but if you don't have to go, you can stay on the line for after I've finish the stream, and I'll just give you a debrief and say thanks as well. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I can stay for a few more minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, make sure you say thank you to Indrid in chat.
No.
She's come all the way from America to be here to talk to you about this. Right.
It was a long trip. It was a really long trip, guys. My arms are tired. It's swimming.
It's school assembly day, and she's come all the way from America. I should have said that at the start, shouldn't I? How's my cat? The cat's in the vet, so when it comes out, it should hopefully feel a bit better for 6 months to, up to about 6 months.
Oh.
And then, it's going to feel
Judith,
really nice.
That's really nice. Oh my God, your chat is so nice. What the heck? I seem lovely. Oh my goodness.
We've got a nice open-minded bunch, because I'll tell you what we're not doing as well is we're not kicking off and saying some of the conspiracy theory stuff that actually I get a bit annoyed with, actually. I do say it's ridiculous, some of the ridiculous stuff, but the stuff where you should be open-minded, what I worry about is some people are trying to rip people off, aren't they, and some people are trying to con them, and there's all that. So we want authentic voices.
That's what irritates me. Yeah. That's what irritates me too. No, Snood, you stink. So that's what I had the issue with. That's why I messaged you, is that the Burger King foot lettuce, the ghost stuff, is he's just trying to clickbait people, and that's what irritates me about it. I was like, no, this is clickbait, and that's all it is. There's no intent on finding anything real, because there's always going to be that natural morbid curiosity for all of this stuff. and you're gonna click on something and be like, oh, proof of a ghost, cool, but it's just bullshit. It's so stupid.
Yeah, so we're going to try and find something authentic. Yeah, I look forward to having you back on in the future. We'll see how the stars align, and look forward to seeing you on more Detractor Beam. I've got that open in another window there.
Yeah, we're gonna make fun of a certain dude tonight. We're gonna look at some old ancient Philip Burnell.
You know, right? I've got to ask you this. Is Philip Burnell legit wearing a skin suit, or is he actually human?
Dude, he needs to wash his skin suit so bad. These pictures down here, the ones of him pushing in his face, it's because his human suit is so uncomfortable and it's so itchy because it's so dirty. He's not from Earth, man.
All right. Thank you very much, Indrid. Thank you very much, everyone in chat.
Yeah.
I'm going to press stop streaming. I'm going to tell you, remember, if you can't be good, you're naughty.